That's just the thing with Scott is everybody can celebrate the prospect pool, which I'll give him credit for, right? They have the number one prospect pool in America. They're not all going to translate, but I get it. That's currency in baseball, and I'll give Scott Harris credit for that. I think what he did last year at the deadline, trading Flaherty and then getting him back, shows that he's elevated the organization. They're an appealing organization, and he knows what he's doing. Having said all that, third base has been an albatross for 3 seasons with Scott Harris.
With Scott Harris, longer than that.
I was going to say, we can go back. I mean, and Gator gave us a history lesson yesterday in Crosstalk, but you can go all the way back to Fryman. I mean, we can really take this thing back.
Travis.
But you signed Gleyber Torres to a 1-year deal, and at the time we said you needed the bat, so I understood. But then it displaced Keith, which displaces Torque, which creates this cascading effect on your defense. And how much better are they at the plate? They didn't land the signature bat that we all had pointed to, and it didn't have to be Bregman. Remember, there were 5 or 6 names when the offseason started. They went laser-focused tunnel vision on Bregman. Don't blame us for them going laser-focused tunnel vision on Bregman and not getting him. To not have a backup plan, the injuries are only going to make that more obvious, but it was going to be a problem regardless. So, Scott, if you get to the start of the season and you're looking around going, I got a bunch of ragamuffins, was the ticket text word, do something about it. You're the president of baseball operations.
Hey, it's and you can't just sit there and start the season and say, well, you're not going to win a division in late March, early April, going into May, but you could sure dig yourself a big enough hole.
And we've seen that
you
story.
Can't dig out of.
Like last year, they got off to the hottest start they had under AJ in April. But the story for most of AJ's tenure here has been
awful starts.
And to Tom's point, I think that's on the table here, and I am concerned.
And some things that maybe can happen. Like, what if Colt Keith really rounds into form hitting-wise?
Yeah.
Consistent. Doesn't have those slumps, Like last year, Jim pointed out all the time, it was a roller coaster. Good month, bad month, good 3 weeks, bad 3 weeks. If what impact that has on the win-loss column if that can become more consistent.
Texter says, get Tom Brookins in here. Is he still available?
Oh, come on. Isn't that cross the line now in terms of like going too old?
Yes.
I think that was the point.
That was the humor.
Yes.
I mean, we could have gone further back if you'd like. What was Valenti citing a few weeks
bring
back?
Lou
we start
back.
getting dangerous here in terms of these people alive. And
bring Lou back, and it gets one more season in, and then we can put him back on the ballot. I mean, that's the hilarity of that
but
text.
Gleyber stuck at second.
It's no Mike Schmidt. Anyway, we got 2 Grand Slam.
Tram? We bring Tram back at short?
2 Grand Slam. We are going to have some more fun this hour, including something I saw over the weekend at a wedding that I loved. It's 97.1.
Grass is going to start growing, and it can't happen soon enough. I think we all want to have that nice, lush green lawn. The company that can make that possible throughout the course of the summer and can keep that crabgrass and all those other nasty things away is Natural Way. Natural Way Lawn and Tree Service. Get green, stay green with Natural Way. 888-GET-GREEN. Or on the web at naturalwaylawn.com. They got a couple of things going on right now. For a limited time, you can purchase a full lawn program, get free grub control, but you got to mention my name along with 97.1 the ticket. You can also save some green when you prepay. Call by the end of the month for the early bird discount. Early bird gets the worm, although worms are good for your lawn. Hey, the Natural Way difference. When you hire Natural Way, that's what you're going to get. Fewer chemicals and environmentally sound practices. They're going to assign your lawn its own specialist. They're going to custom tailor a solution specifically for your yard and your home. They also offer pest control services, and it's a company that's been doing it here in the area, and nobody knows better than our locally owned companies for over 3.5 decades. They're also going to give you 100% satisfaction guaranteed because they know they're the right company for the job. That number again, 888-GET-GREEN, or on the web at naturalwaylawn.com. Natural Way Lawn and Tree Service. Get green, stay green with Natural Way.
Before we give away some money, let's get to Heather with the news.
Well, it's almost time to say goodbye to the 313 and hello to a new 679 area code. So beginning on November 7th of this year, new phone customers in Detroit, Hamtramck, Highland Park, Allen Park, Dearborn Heights, Ecorse, Grosse Pointe, Inkster, Lincoln Park, Redford, River Rouge, and Taylor may receive numbers with the 679 area code. It's all because number combinations with the 313 are running out. So don't worry. If you have the 313 area code, you're not going to lose that number. You get to keep that. But this is only for new phone lines, right? So if you're getting a new phone, there's a possibility you're not going to get that 313. And also with this change, along with this area code change, all local calls with a 313 area code will require 10-digit dialing, which means you have to include the area code with each call, which to me isn't really that big of a deal.
To include the area code?
I always thought you had to.
Well,
I didn't realize that local phone calls within the 313 area code didn't need to use it.
Is that only for hard lines?
I don't know.
I don't know because, I mean, everybody with the cell phone, it just seems like you always dial the area code or you just hit the name.
I think it's only for payphones.
Oh, payphones, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the last time? Have you ever used a payphone?
I don't think so.
Never in your life? You've never used one?
So.
Oh, wow.
I've never called collect either, if that's what you want to know.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Have you ever filled out a bracket?
Yes, Tom, for most of my life.
Tigers legend Kirk Gibson is stepping down as a member of the Tigers broadcast team this season. With less than 2 weeks before the 2025 season begins, it was announced that he's stepping down to focus on his health. So he did release a statement. It said, "This transition isn't about me slowing down. It's about moving forward with my mission to make a difference in the lives of those with Parkinson's." Now, he will remain a member of the Tigers organization with being a special assistant to the general manager.
So disappointed. And I don't know that no matter who they replace him with, you're not going to get the same insight. You're not going to get the same knowledge. His knowledge of baseball is second to none. And he is one of those guys that does a great job of preparing, but being able to say what he thinks and knows and putting into terms that all of us can understand.
And he's got a dry sense of humor, which I really appreciated. And I know Parkinson's has taken a toll on the energy he could put into a broadcast, but he was a great sport with us last year, and obviously wish him really well into the next steps here.
Yeah, definitely. The Pontiac woman who is accused of, leaving her children to live alone for years in filth has already contacted her children multiple times from behind bars, violating a judge's order not to have any contact with them. Yeah, there's jail records show that Kelly Bryant called her children's caregiver 10 times from March 8th to March 12th. She also had other inmates call the caregiver on her behalf, so she can discuss what's going on, have communication with what's going on. Prosecutors, of course, now want her communication privileges revoked. And if the motion is granted, it would mean she would not be able to use a telephone or a tablet or any really communication devices while she's behind bars. It's exactly what they thought she would do, and
she
went and did it. Yep. Last June, Oakland County Deputy Bradley Reckling was fatally shot while investigating a stolen car. And on Monday, one of the teens involved in his death pleaded guilty. 18-year-old Kareem Moore pleaded guilty to charges of conducting a criminal enterprise, receiving and concealing stolen property, and felony firearms. So he faces up to 20 years in prison, plus 2 more for the felony firearm charge. And his plea deal removed the possibility of a life sentence. He's going to be sentenced on May 2nd. 2 other teens as well were charged in his death. Finally, let's talk about this quickly. West Virginia governor, he isn't happy that the Mountaineers men's basketball team missed out on the NCAA tournament. And he held a press conference Monday where he announced that he asked his attorney general to open this investigation into the selection committee to find out if there were any backdoor deals made.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the College Football Playoff Committee from signed Florida State.
Yeah, he called it a miscarriage of justice and robbery at the highest levels.
Let's slow down here with miscarriage of justice. Your team went 10-10 in conference play. You weren't owed anything. Come on.
I agree.
It's Heather with the news. Let's give away some money.
Yep.
There we go. Well, the best part of every Tuesday is the 2 Grand Slam. Let's give away some money. We all know the rules. You're going to get 60 seconds. You're going to hear that clock ticking down. You're going to try to answer 10 questions, $25 for each question answered correctly. If they get them all right, $2,000.
All right, no pressure.
Yeah.
Kevin in Lake Orion. Good morning. You're on 97.1. Kev, what's up?
Hey, good morning, guys. Pretty excited. Never actually made it through before. So,
All right, Kevin.
How long you been trying to get through?
geez, I've been listening to you guys for a long time, so I'd say I've been consistently calling for close to 6 months.
Okay.
All right, Kevin.
All right.
If you don't know one, pass. We'll get back to it if there's enough time. Are you excited?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I am.
Here we go. Your time starts right now. Who is the head coach of the Michigan's men's basketball team?
Dusty May,
Who does Michigan State's men's basketball team play on Friday night?
Bryant,
What is the capital of Spain?
Barcelona,
Who do the Red Wings play tonight?
Capitals,
Who is the current vice president of the United States?
J.D. Vance,
What is the nickname of the University of Louisville?
the Cardinals,
Is Easter Sunday in March or April this year?
April,
How many teams make the NCAA tournament in men's basketball?
68,
Who leads the Red Wings in goals scored this season?
Lucas Raymond,
Who is the head coach of the Cleveland Browns?
Kevin Stefanski.
All right.
All right.
Nice
You've
job, Kevin.
answered all of them, and we got you with 8. Well done.
Great job.
Man,
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of which ones you didn't get?
I think the tournament teams. I want to say I said 68, but I feel like that just didn't sound right when I said it.
Oh, no, you nailed that one. That's 68,
Yeah.
minus the play-in
Okay,
teams.
probably Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, you said Barcelona. It's actually Madrid.
We're going to go through it.
Madrid. Okay.
We're going to go through it, but you won $200.
$200, yeah.
So there you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll put you on hold, get your info, make sure you get paid.
Yeah, that hard work, 6 months, paid off.
There you go.
Through it. Yeah, and the 2 Grand Slam on Tuesdays is brought to you by Femininio Law.
Head coach at Michigan,
Dusty May.
Bryant is the opponent for MSU. The capital of Spain, you told him?
Yeah, it's Madrid.
Red Wings play the Capitals tonight. He took his time on this
did.
one.
Yes.
But he
That
got
was-
through the rest quickly because I was nervous he was going to.
take too long.
Yeah.
So, hey, 3 of the first 4.
Yeah.
Current president or vice president of the United States.
J.D. Vance.
Yep. Nickname of Louisville.
The Cardinals.
Thought that was the easiest one on here. He got that one. Easter Sunday, you got a 50-50 shot. He said April. He was right. 68 teams make the NCAA tournament in men's basketball. Lucas Raymond is the other one he got
Yeah.
wrong. He
Yeah.
said Raymond leads the Red Wings in goals,
It's Alex DeBrincat.
despite what Tom says about him.
What does he say about him?
Oh, he's a minus player. He's not very good.
Is he?
He is a minus
I never
player.
said he's not very good.
He
He's
leads the
one
team in
thing good.
goals. He back checks too. You don't see it, but he does
You
back
pointed
check.
that out. There was a good one on Sunday.
Sunday against Vegas.
Yeah.
And the head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
It's Kevin Stefanski.
That's a good showing by Kevin in Lake Orion.
Yeah.
He did great.
Excited about that. $200. Give it away on a Tuesday. Can't beat that.
Not bad at all. 8 o'clock hour. We have a March Madness draft. Heather kicked our ass last year. Can she do it again this season?
We shall see.
That's at 8:35. Coming up next, I was at a wedding over the weekend, and the bride and groom pulled off one of my favorite moves for a wedding. It's next, 97.1. Some of you do not like going to the dentist, and I get it. If you have a cavity, you don't want to go and get that thing filled, or you worry that it might be something worse and you're just putting it off. It doesn't have to be that way with Brightside Dental. I've gone to Brightside Dental. I've had cavities filled at Brightside Dental. Went to the Southfield office. They made it easy, painless. The number, 1-800-PAINLESS, is spot on. There's a slight little pinch. They numb you up, and then you're cruising. They communicate every step of the way. It's a piece of cake. $35 new patient special that covers exams and x-rays, and they've got 9 Metro Detroit locations. So if you're not close to the Southfield one, there's Canton, Farmington, Livonia, St. Clair Shores. They've got a brand new one out in Trenton as well. Check them out, 1-800-PAINLESS, BrightsideDental.com. That's Brightside Dental. No judgment, just care. Pistons pummeled the Pelicans last night. That's Mark Champion on the call. Good bounce back after a couple losses in a row. Team did not play down to their competition. They ran them over. 127-81.
Game was over midway through the first quarter.
And you're right. I mean, the second quarter, you could have turned the game off and it'd have been fine.
Yeah.
They showed a graphic, last year's Pelicans and last year's Pistons, and how things have completely flipped. Yeah, which is pretty cool. So Pistons clearly gearing up, playing at the best ball at the right time here. Magic number, we did the math earlier. 9. Combination of wins or losses by the opponents. Get the Pistons not in the play-in, but a solidified playoff spot. 13 games to go. We're going to talk a little Tiger baseball in the 8 o'clock hour. We've got a March Madness draft at 8:35. John, over the weekend, I went to a wedding.
Oh, good for you guys.
Yeah. Cousin got married. They went out to Grand Rapids to do the reception and have family and friends out there. And they pulled off, it's a small move, but a brilliant move that I love at weddings.
Okay.
You have your dinner. You do all your the things you got, the dancing,
drinking,
the standard.
They roll in pizza reinforcements.
Ooh.
And it's perfect because you're
this
in
must be a Costa family thing because I love you
pizza.
Talk about pizza all the time. You took a vacation based on pizza.
You so did.
I took a bite.
Forgot about that.
Uh-huh.
I took a bite. I instantly knew where the pizza was from because I was out in Grand Rapids for a few years there.
How many different options did they have? Same place, I'm sure, but in terms of...
They had cheese, pepperoni, they had sausage. There's probably even more than that, but they rolled in pizza reinforcements, which I thought was a great touch because everybody... You have your fine dining, you have your food, you're moving, you're dancing, you're drinking.
Cake.
Everybody... Cake. They had cake, they had cookies. Of course, they had cookies.
Any ice cream?
No, they didn't have any ice cream. Sorry to disappoint, John. But the pizza reinforcements, and I wanted to know if you guys have been to weddings where they've made a winning move like that. Something unique, clutch, just put the night to another level.
It's been a long time since I've been to a wedding. It's been a long time. In fact, the last wedding I was at was mine.
Was it yours?
And so one of the things that we did is when you came in, instead of having, like cards where you pick up your card, you figure out what table you're at, because we had assigned seating, as most people do. There was a board that was made to look like a football field. We got married at the Michigan League on campus there, and most of the people that were coming were, either former teammates, people that I know from Michigan. It was Michigan themed, and we put a Michigan baseball hat in these racks that we had built, and on the rack had the name, but then when you took out the hat, it had your seat assignment.
Oh.
So the couples would sit at these different places. So everybody then, it was kind of cool because all the dudes were wearing Michigan hats.
So
some of the ladies
That's
were.
nice.
But yeah.
Oh, that's a nice little giveaway.
Yeah, I think that's a nice touch.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'll give you one from last summer. They had an ice cream sandwich station. So they had cookies and like a soft serve ice cream machine. So you built your own cookie ice cream sandwiches.
Okay.
I don't see that at many weddings. I thought that was a really nice touch.
So the soft serve is tough for the middle of an ice cream sandwich, though.
I know.
Because you bite into it and it oozes out everywhere.
Well, yeah, you got to portion it properly.
The
John.
hard scoop is probably a better
Probably
one.
even better.
Not to be critical of
Well,
the wedding
I'll
you
pass
went to.
along the notes to the bride and groom. You guys
Just
screwed
from
up.
an ice cream sandwich expert.
Okay.
Yeah, soft serve can be tough in that situation.
But you could do it that way, too. I know. I don't want to steal everybody's thunder. 248-539-9797. Reinforcement pizza, creative dessert bars, creative gifts, and table settings. What have you guys seen?
I mean, people are doing some very, very different things now. I've never actually seen it, but I've heard about people bringing in like live painters to like paint the first dance, but like people can kind of come and check the progress as it's going on through the night, which is kind of cool. I've heard of people bringing in tattoo artists. Like you could walk out of a wedding and get like
some fresh ink.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't
Wow.
do anything. We did have the reinforcement pizza,
Yeah.
but besides that, I think it was probably pretty generic.
So if the wedding wedding reception has a tattoo artist, first of all, they can't be too intricate because
No, they're not. They're small, I think. Or like
then the
simple
bride and groom
designs.
would have to get one, right? They'd have to
Oh,
start
yeah.
the
Yep.
festivities.
Oh, yeah.
kick
I
it
think
off.
so.
If you got one, what would it be?
I would not get one. It would be like Phoebe on Friends where she gets a freckle. Like, I'm not getting a
Yeah,
tattoo.
Okay, I said if.
I'm not.
Not playing the game here.
Pretty defensive over it.
Yes.
You could do John's done stuff with kids' names, right? You could do
Yeah.
stuff with kids' names.
I could,
but you wouldn't.
but I won't.
Okay, yes, I understand that you're not going to.
You wouldn't
You're
want to
not
ruin
going
your
to,
perfect
yes.
skin with a
No,
blemish.
No, I'm just not. Their tattoos are not for me.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not a tattoo person either.
But if
If
I like
you were forced to
tattoos.
get one, what would you get?
maybe I do a little
His cat.
a little Roomba.
Oh boy.
Of course he would.
Oh boy. Yes. The picture of a vacuum cleaner.
Texter says every wedding does the reinforcement pizza now. It's just a great move. That's signed Jarrett on the ticket text. Texter says we brought in 100 McDoubles for a late night snack. The venue served them on silver platters.
Oh, there you go.
There we
That's
go.
great.
Oh, yeah.
Was at a wedding in Detroit. Sliders and tater tots. Great drunk food to finish the night. Amazing. At a wedding, we had sliders and Eskimo Jack's ice cream cookie sandwiches.
There you go.
It's a late night snack.
Yep.
Texter says Jim was pretty drunk at that wedding. He posted the same photo twice on his Instagram story. Didn't realize I did that. Oops. We're having a good time. The other thing they did is they brought out those light up glasses, which I did tweet about. The light up glasses when
Oh,
you're on
yeah?
the dance floor. It just kind of gets everybody in more of a party spirit.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, they probably did that in honor of you.
Why?
The disco.
Oh, there was no disco music played at this wedding, but that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, you could have had your vest and everything, your
the
shirt,
little-
whatever it
the
was. Yeah.
glitter and sparkles and whatever that was. You guys let us know. Todd in Allen Park, what have you seen done at these weddings? You're on 97.1.
Well, I was also at my son Danny and Katie's wedding in Grand Rapids this weekend at the new Vintage Place, and they had an ice cream sundae bar with all of the toppings, hot fudge, caramel, and they also had sliders at 9:30 at night. So that was a nice touch for a great evening.
The late night snack
Yes.
is. It's not one until you said that. I had not heard of the
really?
reinforcements. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I said,
Like,
it's been a minute. It's been
And-
a minute. It's been
And
5
maybe
years.
this is the last 5 or so years. It's
Yeah.
just become standard.
It was offered in our wedding package. Like you didn't have to, but they gave you options of what you could do
Really?
as your late night snack. Yeah.
Todd, appreciate the phone call.
Yeah. We didn't have the late night snack. We had the late night bus.
Oh.
So
Where did it take you back
It took
to?
it took us from the venue, the Michigan League, to Rick's,
Oh, fine.
which was it was the college hangout, and it was kind of a tribute to a lot of the guys that were had grown up, become men in Ann Arbor.
Sure.
Ticket text 248-539-9797. Phone calls as well. Texter says, I want to find this one specific one because it's Taylor on Taylor crime.
Oh boy.
Tattoo artist at a wedding is the most Taylor thing I've ever heard of. Mike in Waterford, I used to live in Taylor.
I've heard of it happening. Especially if the
I
bride
don't
and
think it's
groom are
trashy.
into,
Yeah.
that's probably something they're into, right?
Sure.
So they want to share it, and you don't have
You
to
don't
get
have
one.
to, right? Yes. You could be like Heather and
Yeah.
just completely object, not dream
I would
or
not get
have.
one, and I wouldn't get one at a wedding.
Danny in Birmingham. Danny, good morning.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
I recreated Lafayette Coney Island late night at my wedding for some loose, some Coney dogs, and some fries. That was the hit.
Coney's an aggressive late night snack. It's a great late night snack, a drunk
Oh,
snack.
perfect.
Yeah.
it'd be-
Well, I'm saying it sits heavy. It's perfect.
Oh yeah,
It was the bomb.
yeah. Got to absorb some
Also-
of the drinks.
Also, go green, Jansen.
Yeah, sure. What am I supposed to say to that? I'm not going to say go white.
You could say go blue.
No, I can't say
Ooh,
that.
gotcha.
Yeah. You really stuck it to me.
Niece brought Chick-fil-A midnight at the wedding. Great move. Texter says, was this Jim's first wedding? Apparently everybody's doing pizza reinforcements at their wedding.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, I got married more than 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and I had that.
How about a donut wall?
Oh, I've seen those too. I don't love that the donuts are sitting out. Like to go stale a little bit?
Well, how long's the wait? It's only a couple
I
hours.
don't know. I've seen them. I've never.
The problem with the donut wall is you're left with all the donuts that you don't have any filling, right? Because you would have to have it on a
Yeah, they're on like
peg.
a peg. It's like a pegboard kind of.
Yeah, maybe a blueberry fried donut.
Look at you, got ideas in your head now. Hey, if you ever renew vows, you could do reinforcements that way.
Yeah.
There you go. Let us know. 248-539-9797.
Renewing the vows would be the reinforcement, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Wedding winning moves. What have you seen done at weddings? It's 97.1.
Hey, March is the month for the Black Card membership over at Planet Fitness. Right now, they've got some specials going on, and they've had it going on all month, so don't miss the opportunity. $1 down gets you into a Black Card membership. And what do you get with the Black Card membership? You get access to every single location they have coast to coast. Here in Metro Detroit, they've got 50 of them. They've got more around the state. They're in Grand Rapids. They're everywhere. And if you don't like going to work out alone, you have unlimited guest privileges, so you can always take somebody with you. It gives you access to the Black Card Spa, which has hydro massage. They got massage chairs. They've got it all. It's something that's a great opportunity, so stop in, find out what it offers you, and find why you want to go. Because there's a lot of people, hey, I just want to simply lose weight. That's part of the equation. It's being able to work out. You want to be able to be active. I've talked about this. I've got 5 kids. The range is from 19 to 3. They're all into something different. And, hey, I know grandkids are in the future at some point. Hopefully that's ways down the road. But I want to make sure that I am healthy enough, I'm active enough to be able to play with all the kids and their activities. You can find your nearest club and join today. Remember, it's that Black Card membership that's on sale this month. You can do it in club, online, or on the free Planet Fitness app. We're all strong on this planet, Planet Fitness.
So it's certainly not revolutionary, but I do think it's a wedding-winning move. The reinforcements late in the night. Is at a wedding over the weekend in Grand Rapids. They brought out the pizza right as everybody was good and drunk, had worked off some energy and some food on the dance floor, and I love pizza as a late-night reinforcement. But we've asked you guys. It doesn't have to be pizza. In fact, some of you guys have some super creative things you've seen that take the wedding to the next level, the wedding-winning moves. 248-539-9797. Texter says, I'm surprised Heather didn't have grilled cheese with ketchup at her wedding.
Ooh, I should have. But I've been to a wedding that had grilled cheese like as an appetizer with like a little cup of tomato soup.
Yeah.
They were like little grilled cheese dippers.
Cut lengthwise.
Or
Probably,
diagonal, maybe?
because it was a teeny cup, so it would have had to have been.
Lengthwise,
Yeah.
The best way to do it. That's a smart wedding.
Well, diagonal would give you the little triangles. It'd be
Well,
easier.
okay, yeah, whatever. Thanks, Tony.
My brother had American Coney Island spread at the wedding, and it was downtown, and it was fantastic. Texter says Dairy Queen, where they had personal flurries. They came out with hot cookies and shot glasses of milk later on. Paul in a car.
Is there anything greater than a warm chocolate chip cookie? Oh, man. And especially if you're making, and I still would hold to, now maybe if it's if you get 2 warm chocolate chip cookies, I still think the best way to go is with the hard scoop ice cream.
I think you're right about that. Texter says their sister got Dan Campbell to give my wife and I a video of marriage advice that she played at the reception.
Oh, wow.
Starstruck.
What was the advice?
Yeah, let us know. It doesn't say. It's from John. Let us know. That's pretty cool.
Be the first to bite a kneecap?
Yeah, when was this?
Some
Detroit.
people are into that.
They are. Before I steal too many of these on text, let's get back to the phones. Brad and Wixom, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I think I got I'm good. Thank you. I think I got a pretty great late night wedding reinforcement, but I got to say that Dan Campbell move was pretty awesome. I'm assuming his advice was just go for it, something like that, maybe. Go for it on 4th. But my cousin's wedding, I thought this was pretty sweet and so simple. White Castle. Right at midnight, they brought out like 10 30-pack Crave cases of double cheeseburger and cheeseburger sliders, and everybody loved it. And my wife, God bless her, she snagged a box at the end to sneak home for us.
Good choice.
Yeah, people love the White Castle. It was a simple move, but it went over very well.
Yeah, we're easy to please when you're drunk, right? Like at the end of the night, anything greasy, anything indulgent. That's why we got a lot of desserts and like burgers and pizza on the ticket text.
Yeah, I think pizza might be. It's one of those where they bring it in, and initially the reaction is you rock stars.
Yeah.
And then after a piece, you're like, well, I could have another piece.
John, I could
have another piece.
Just kept. Kelsey was like, hey, do you need a 4th or 5th slice? I was like, yeah, I probably don't need a 4th.
She was the pizza governor.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, she knows I would just inhale too much food.
Oh, Jimmy, that's too much pizza. Let's not go too overboard, Jimmy.
That cabana outfit ain't gonna fit.
That's right.
There it
That's
is.
right.
There
Yes,
it is.
yes. You know, we're going on vacation this summer.
Texter says we did a s'mores bar at the end of the night. Chocolate, cookies, marshmallows, all of it. Faygo at a Detroit-themed wedding. They had White Castle burgers, Better Made chips, and Faygo to drink.
There you go.
That's
a
kind
rock
of
and ride.
fun. Yeah, there you go. Is that your favorite?
It's probably the only one I know.
Oh, okay. You got the Red Pop?
Red Pop.
Red Pop. Yeah.
Moon Mist?
Okay, you can go down the list.
What are we doing? All right, 248-539-9797.
Your favorite Faygo.
Texter says, Heather, what's the deal here? Says your visceral reaction about tattoos. Did an ex push you to get one or something?
Oh, no, I don't know. I'm not into tattoos. I'm terrified of needles, and I don't have anything I would want on my body that long. I like them on other people.
Yeah, just a kid's name's just not that important enough.
No, I love my kids' names, and I love my kids, but I don't want it on my body.
It's not for everyone. I get
That's
that.
all.
Texter says, I'm about to get divorced and remarried so I can have Dan Campbell give a speech at my wedding.
What do you think the
Renew
advice
the
was?
vows.
It's a good question.
Maybe we'll put that one out to our ticket texters. Like, what is it that you would think Dan Campbell marriage advice Dan Campbell would give out?
He talked about going for it, like when life hands you a fourth down.
Yeah. Fourth and short.
There's going to be
and
fourth
long.
downs in your marriage.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's fourth and long for them.
Greg. Only for those Irish redheads, right?
My gosh.
Texter says, we had Doc Emmerich announce the wedding party when they were coming in. That's from Fred in Marine City. Now that's awesome.
Yeah.
Voice of hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what he like recorded? I'm sure. I don't think he.
Yeah, I don't think he was there in person.
Arrived at the wedding to do it.
Here's the names.
That's still really cool. Wedding winning moves. 248-539-9797. Texter says 2 winning moves. 1, don't invite me. I can eat my own pizza at home without having to watch your drunk aunt do the hustle. Plus, if pizza is the best memory of the wedding, I didn't have to be there. 2, keep it simple. Seriously, unless you have the money to spend, save it for your next wedding. Wow, that's a
Boo, stay
great-
home. You suck.
That individual was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Evan had Sparty at his wedding.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was cool.
I remember after my wedding, my dad said, would you have liked pause at your wedding? And I'm like, no, thank you for not getting pause to come to my wedding.
So because you were working with the
I
Tigers
worked
at
for
that
the
time.
Tigers.
Yeah.
So,
So
we
why
thought,
not?
I know, but just that'd be like a Stony move almost. Oh, she works for the Tigers. Let's get Paul.
Well,
Yeah.
you know.
Why not?
I've never heard you talk
The
about
best-
pause in your life.
The best would
I
to
did,
be to
I
have
haven't.
the best would be to have Stoney in the pause outfit.
Oh, man.
So, who is pause and have the big reveal at the end? It's Stoney.
All
Thought you
hunched
didn't
over.
come. Yeah.
Why no to pause, though? You wouldn't have wanted pause at your wedding?
It's not a circus.
No, I'm not a huge fan of mascots at weddings.
Yeah, says Bridezilla.
Or tattoos?
No tattoos. No
No,
pause.
you can. I said I would not get one. You can have
No
it.
kids.
The tattoo artist is kind of a cool, I think, but
Yeah.
I would not be partaking.
I can't believe Heather wouldn't invite a coworker like that.
I know. Yeah. No invite for you,
Pause is +1.
Yeah.
Mrs. Pause.
Mrs. Pause.
All right, we're having some fun with this. You can text in, you can call us, you can let us know about your wedding winning moves. 8 o'clock hour, we have a March Madness draft. Heather won last year. Surprised you didn't get a trophy for that.
Well, just wait.
We got to fight back, John.
Is the trophy still here?
It
Yes,
is,
of course it's still there.
her picks trophy from football season. We got to defend this radio show from Heather. We'll get to that at 8:35, March Madness draft. Talk a little Tiger baseball next, 97.1.
Brought to you by English Gardens. How about some early morning baseball? The Dodgers and Cubs playing an actual regular season MLB game overseas right now in Tokyo, Japan. Right now, the Dodgers up 3-1. They're at the top of the 7th with 2 outs. Also, Cade Cunningham and Simone Fontecchio combining for 47 points last night, leading the Pistons to a no-doubt 127-81 win over the Pelicans in New Orleans. Detroit led by 31 at the half. They never trailed in the road victory. Head coach J.B. Bickerstaff says these types of wins are propelled by chemistry. At the high school level, Anna Wypitch of Rockford announced as the winner of Miss Basketball in the state of Michigan. The 3rd straight year, the winner comes out of the west side of the state. She averaged more than 22 a game. And in Lakeland, Colt Keith and Justin Henry Malloy continue to hit in spring ball for the Tigers. Keith added 3 more knocks against the Pirates. He's batting .359 as he continues to work at first base. Did have a couple of errors out there. Henry Malloy also logged multiple hits and is up to .308 at the plate. At the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
Okay, a couple quick texts. People have the advice that Dan Campbell would give. One for the wife, one for the husband. When you get up to time to do the vows,
Yeah.
time to pour your
Yes,
soul
don't
out
give
there.
don't give the opportunity.
All right, we got baseball on today, by the way. Baseball's back out in Tokyo. Game 1 of the MLB season, Dodgers and Cubs. Kind of weird to have baseball on at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool to be able to have it on, see what's going on. Nothing too exciting from Shohei yet.
I'm happy it's not the Tigers.
Why?
You wish it was the Tigers.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they were good enough to be chosen by Major League Baseball to start the season off. Well, I mean, how much excitement did you have? I want to start the season
in a here we go, the traditional argument.
Right,
Surprised I'm the one making it. But I like starting the season in a proper window to start the season.
A proper window.
Yeah, like you gear up for a day game, right? Or you get the evening.
How about all eyes focused on one of two teams? So you wake up and it is, okay, yeah, maybe you're not going to get the eyeballs, but you're going to get the recognition of being the team, one of the two teams to start off Major League Baseball season, one of 162, and you were special enough to be chosen.
Look, I know Jamie Samuelson would love it if the
Sure.
Tigers, because then
short show.
Finally a short show in the morning. It'd be weird to have Dan Dickerson be the voice calling the play-by-play at 6, 7, 8 in the morning. It's unique.
Think it would be cool.
It's unique. It's cool, but I want to start the season in a more traditional way. Baseball's all about traditions.
Yeah, selfish
anyway.
for you.
Okay. Now, selfish for me would be play the game right now, and we could kick our feet up and watch the game and listen to Dan do his thing. Speaking of the Tigers, we went through pitching chaos last year. How do you feel about lineup chaos? Concerns that this season could go south given just what we're looking at right now. It's Parker Meadows, it's Matt Vierling, it's the unanswered question at third base. John, I was sitting here mapping it out. They've got 4 different players displaced on defense. That's half of the defense. I don't know if they've got enough bats. I don't know if they're going to play enough defense behind this pitching staff. I do have a concern that we could be living last year where we're wasting a pitching staff for much of the season.
Well, I think that's a major concern, but I also am curious. Maybe the pitching chaos overshadowed the lineup chaos, and now this year we're not even talking about the offensive side. We're just talking about defense. Who's going to play third? Who's going to play right field? Who's going to play center? It's going to be Riley Green. How much do you not want him to play center? Simply because you don't want him to increase his risk of injury. Wenzel Perez is going to be there. It's going to be a number of different individuals, but last year it was lineup chaos pretty much throughout the course of the season because you have guys like Kerry Carpenter, who's going to probably be DH against all right-handed pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not going to be DH against the left-handed hitter or pitcher. That is Spencer Torkelson. And so you have to constantly mix and match left-handed hitters with this pitcher, right-handed hitters with this pitcher, and then throughout the course of the game, you've got a pinch hitter, you got a pinch runner, and then you're trying to figure out, well, maybe we can't pinch hit this individual because then we have no one else to play third base. It just adds another wrinkle, and it's completely insane.
You could default to the position of, I trust A.J. Hinch. And I'd understand it. AJ's a hell of a manager. They made it work last year with the pitching staff and to an extent manufactured what they could offensively, right? They sent the runners. They were aggressive on the base paths. They used every platoon leverage opportunity they could with pinch hitters and pinch runners. But it feels even more extreme right now. Torque is displaced. Keith is displaced. Green is displaced. Baez is displaced. Are any of them going to be upgrades? Like, they like Riley Green in left field. If they have to play him more at center, that's not ideal. Torkelson is playing the outfield for the first time since 2018. Is that ideal? Colt Keith's learning a brand new position where if you boot a ball over at first, that's an out that turns into a base runner and extends an inning. Javi Baez is already committing errors at third base. He hasn't played the position regularly, again, since 2018. Are any of these upgrades? I didn't even mention how they're going to do in the batter's box. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's already the obvious question about Baez and Torque. And are we getting any better defensively while still having the same questions in the batter's box?
I think there's a chance that Baez could be an upgrade over McKinstry or Ibanez or down the list, Colt Keith at third base.
Defensively, you're saying?
Defensively, yes. Oh, yes. We're talking defense here. Offensively, Not the guy you want to bet on to be an upgrade anywhere at the plate. Maybe over Jace Young.
Well, right. And it's two things. It's the third base thing, which is a thing, and it's the injuries in the outfield. It's Parker Meadows and it's Matt Vierling. And Scott Harris is not responsible for the injuries in his outfield, but there is a fair question about the organization's issues.
He's responsible for depth.
depth and really the starting third base spot. So Jace Young gets sent down. He was not ready. No one's saying throw him into the fire. If he didn't perform in spring training, he should start in AAA. But Jace Young is a college bat who this summer will be 3 years removed from college. It's kind of got to be soon here for Jace. And if he doesn't stick at third, it would be a long list of other guys they've tried at third. Torque was drafted as a third baseman. Colt Keith played 1,000 innings of third base in the minors. Jahan has actually played more games at third than any other position, but they've bumped him over as kind of a DH outfield first baseman. McGonigal, who was drafted as a shortstop second baseman, he's playing third. Hyu Lee was traded for as a second baseman. Now he's playing third. They're kind of haphazardly trying to find a third baseman. They tried for Bregman. It didn't work out, but they had no fallback. The plan was, I guess, Vierling, who again has hardly played third base in his career. They had no plan at third base. Backup plan, I should say.
Right, yeah, because the plan was, now is now playing in Boston. And that to me is the big concern. Now, we all applauded the fact that they made a legitimate offer, maybe the best offer, to get a third baseman, and it didn't work out. What's the backup plan? And when Jace Young, if that's your backup plan and he is not developing at the rate that you need him to develop, now the answer needs to be you've got to go get yourself a third baseman. You've got to go get yourself a guy that can man that position and has a decent bat at the plate. How do you do that? Free agency's over. You're not developing them right now, so you've got to go and trade for one.
Yeah, the current crop would have Andy Ibanez, first game of the season against the lefty. He hits lefties, but by their decision-making, they don't like him against righties. So righties will be the majority of the time. Mm-hmm. McKinstry is a bad bat. He is. And Baez is terrible against righties because they can just throw the slider in the other batter's box and he can't help himself. It's like me with pizza at the wedding. I mean, those are the options.
Yes.
248-539-9797. And to bring it all together, it was Tom who said pre-show, he goes, I am concerned that this goes south this year. That all the excitement of last year and being in the playoffs and being a win away from the ALCS, it's all wasted.
I just don't think you can survive doing this for more than probably 30 to 45 days. Like they can fight their way through the beginning of the season, piecing this lineup together. But defensively, I don't know how you can survive losing two of your starting outfielders, basically, especially a center fielder who is outstanding at the position. And so the middle of the defense, you're going, don't worry about catcher defensively, really, but middle of your defense is second and short and then the center fielder. And Comerica Park especially, I mean, bottom line is, I thought Parker Meadows was probably the number one reason why they flipped last year. Like, I'm not taking away from Tarek Skubal and Riley Green, but the reason it changed in terms of winning and the rate they won it was Meadows. They went 54-28 with him in the lineup. That's way too big. That's half a season in baseball.
Yeah, I think if you talked to us at the end of last season, we would have said, boy, I could be convinced the 2025 is going to be a fun year because I'm getting a full year of Parker Meadows, right? I'm getting a third baseman or someone on the left side of the infield. I'm not going to see Javi Baez, right? All the things we would have talked ourselves into, and none of them are happening right now. You could have said, hey, maybe Jace Young will solidify it. It hasn't happened yet. All the things you would have pointed to didn't happen.
So let me ask you this, Tom. Surviving the first 30 or 45 days, what does that even mean? Because we all know you're opening up with the Dodgers. You've got Seattle. You got 6 games on the road to start the season. Then you come home for 3 against Chicago. Okay, those should be winnable games.
Yep.
Then you've got the Yankees. You got the Twins on the road. You've got the Brewers on the road. And then you've got 4 at home against Kansas City. And, oh, by the way, then here comes San Diego.
And Baltimore and Houston.
Right. So what does surviving the first 30 days look like?
I think it's within a couple games of 500. You don't want to fall in a hole like last year where you're 10 games under 500 45 days into the season. The reason I'm using 30 to 45 is my anticipation is that Meadows will get this thing going. The nerve will activate, and then he's going to have to go to Toledo or wherever and get back up on timings,
Ramped up.
Yeah. And so you're looking somewhere at the end of April to mid-May. That would be my guess on this. I'm no doctor.
I think that would be optimistic, right? That would be things wake up now, and then he gives himself a month to get his feet under him.
Yeah, I mean, the vibe I'm getting from the Tigers is that Meadows will be back. I everything they say, but I do think with Vierling, it's I mean, once he starts throwing, I don't know how a rotator cuff gets better. You know,
and the moves, sometimes they tell you without telling you, right? Javi playing more third is a reflection of not having Veerling as an option at third. Having Torque play a little right field, how much of that is a reflection of not having Veerling for right field?
Jim, me and you, if we had a rotator cuff issue flare up, if we rested, the doctors, let's rest it, you know, and then let's look at it again. We could probably get away with not having a surgery. I don't know how a baseball player does.
Right.
I'm just using common sense here. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
You're not a doctor.
But to lose to both of them, I think the impact, you're talking about two guys that would be hitting 1 and 2 some days in your lineup.
And
now the projected MLB.com lineup they just posted last night. Wenzel Perez is your leadoff hitter opening day, and he's playing in center field.
Can you give us that full
and
lineup?
he's a solid player. I like it.
Don't do it right now. We'll do it coming up next. We got some phone calls. Are you guys, is there kind of this dark cloud over what should be an exciting season of Tiger baseball? What's your mood as the injuries mount and Jace Young goes down? It's 97-1.
If you find yourself not wanting to be in the front of pictures or be in pictures at all, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that aren't comfortable with their picture being taken because they just don't feel good about themselves. They don't have a great body image right now. And maybe you just want to lose some weight. Ideal You is the company you got to get in touch with. You can do it at idealu.us. You can find out all you need to know on the website, but you also got to give them a call. You could find yourself 40 pounds lighter in just 40 days with Ideal You. I know the program works, and I know it works fast because I lost 50 in those 40 days. And since I began the program, I'm down 70 pounds, which means that 3 years in, I've been able to keep the weight off. Book today, and Ideal You is going to give you a free body composition analysis. That's a $150 value, absolutely free. And when you make that booking, you get that body composition analysis. You're going to be able to set the goals. You're going to sit down with the weight loss coach. You're going to put a plan together. Book your free consultation right now at idealu.us. Ideal You is different than other weight loss companies. It works, and it works fast. So you get instant feedback. Lose up to 40 pounds in 40 days and be happy to take those pictures again. Book your free consultation right now at idealu.us to get your body composition analysis, $150 value, absolutely free. A personal injury of any sort is, in fact, personal. Injury attorney David Femininio has dedicated his career to securing justice and maximizing recovery for those who have been injured. David is also dedicated to ensuring that you get all the medical care that you need to put your life back together after an accident. You need an attorney who's going to make it personal, and that attorney is David Femininio. So if you or someone you know has been injured, you need to tell them to call David Femininio at 855-65-CRASH, or you can go to the website, getdavidgetpaid.com. That number again, 855-65-CRASH, or on the web at getdavidgetpaid.com.
Baseball's back and baseball's on the brain this morning. Cubs and Dodgers already playing as of 6 a.m. Got on in the studio talking about the Tigers. Pitching chaos last year feels like lineup chaos this year. And how do you feel about it? Phone calls and ticket text. Texter says, I've never rooted harder for anybody than Torque this year. His spring excited me, and I pray he goes off this year. Kyle in Livonia. John, doesn't it feel like he's kind of the linchpin of all this?
Yeah, I mean, you were always hopeful, right? Nobody's rooting against Torque. Everybody would love to see him find his rhythm, find what he had at the back half of the season 2 years ago, where he ended up hitting 30 home runs. That's the Torque that we want. But I don't know that anybody's necessarily counting on that.
No.
If he came back and hit 20 homers and hit 230, it would mask some of these other problems. I mean, the thing is, you're talking about him they need him to help now because of what's going on. Well, we had Evan Petzold on, who covers a team 3-4 weeks ago, and he was speculating Torque would be in the minors. And
because of all the tweaks to his swing, he was going to need ABs.
Yeah,
and
maybe
now the
he
team
doesn't.
maybe the team requires him to be here.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to throw Evan under the bus. That was the situation at the time. Things changed. Torque has not cooled off, so he's changing the potential that he is on the roster.
But again, if he's here, Colt Keith is the first baseman. Like it or not, that's what they've decided. So Torque's going to play some outfield, something he hasn't played since 2018. I'm not telling you he can't do it, but they've displaced so many of these guys who we don't even know are offensive upgrades, right? Like we're hoping Torque is, but we don't know that's an offensive upgrade. Meanwhile, it's a defensive step backwards. And that's kind of the two-pronged part of this is we know they need to hit better, but you don't want to have guys who are making mistakes in your infield and your outfield because it's going to hurt this pitching staff. And a ticket texter points that out and says, bad defense will offset the advantage of good pitching, which is our only strength. Defense is what I'm most concerned about, signed Brian. Tom is correct. You don't have to be Nostradamus to see the Tigers aren't going to be very good this season. Makeshift lineups every day is embarrassing, signed JP.
Not sustainable in my mind. Pitching chaos wasn't the whole season last year. It was the last third of the season.
Yeah, it's about, yeah.
Everybody said you can't do this all the time. It stopped working in the playoffs because you started playing the same team more games. It's not sustainable. Did you want this lineup quick?
Oh, yeah. Do you have the projected lineup for the Tigers to open
yesterday,
the season? Yeah.
MLB.com posted this. So Perez in center to lead off, Torres second base, Green left field, Carpenter DH, Keith first base, Ibanez third base, Henry Malloy in right field, Baez at shortstop, Rodgers catching.
So one thing that stood out to me is this is projected against a lefty, Blake Snell.
Yeah.
Carpenter in against the lefty.
Yeah. But because they have to use Malloy in right field. See the tinkering that goes around. But he should get a chance to hit the lefties. He absolutely should.
Yeah. Let's get to Matt in Oxford. You're on 97.1. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So they're going to be abysmal defensively, but they were going to be pretty bad anyway, right? When they signed Torres, I love his bat, but he made them worse defensively because they had moved Keith to first. He's a bad second baseman. It went all on Bregman and missed. Their backup plan was Beerling. He's hurt. The backup to the backup was Young, who apparently can't hit right now. So I think to your point, though, to the point of can they survive 30 to 40 games, I think they're going to be better than last year because Keith's going to be better, Green's going to be better, Torres is legit, Carpenter's good. They had a lot of line drives, right? Those four guys are line drive machines. They're going to be a little light on power. That makes me nervous. But I think if I'm going to be a little positive, it's that the offense will be better than it was in the first quarter last year. And hopefully that's enough to help them survive what's going to be a bad defense, but enough to help the pitching stay afloat. hopefully.
Yeah, to end the call with hopefully. Yeah, we all want to see them at least hold serve the first 30 or so games. It's a tough schedule. The defense is probably going the wrong way. The offense, he paints a picture that there's enough offense to make up for it. I don't know that there is.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the unknown. It's the big, if the offense can generate enough runs, you can make up for some things defensively. But that's, again, I don't know that anybody can have the confidence going into the season the offense is going to be there.
Like, think about it. We just said, okay, Carpenter should play a little more against lefties. That's kind of an unknown. It's going to be same-handedness. He probably won't be as effective. So there's a fair concern.
And it's a little
more Javi and more Torque. Those are two huge question marks. These aren't givens. We went into the offseason looking for certainty to help this young baseball team, and we have more questions today than we did at the end of the year.
I mean, they could have one of the worst defenses in baseball. That's becoming more of a possibility. That's not a good thing. So, yeah, you got to score more runs. Well, if you don't have the guy you projected to be your leadoff hitter, stealing a run here or there, let's say he gets a walk, steals a base, gets a fielder's choice to third, and sac fly home. You're going to have somebody slower over there. You might not steal that run. Meadows did so many little things to steal runs, both defensively and offensively, second half of the year last year. That's why you got to have some power from somewhere. That's why Torque could play into this if he can hit 20 bombs. That's huge.
Week from Thursday, Tiger Baseball is back. Let's get to Heather with the news.
Well, last night's Knicks game was delayed for about 10 minutes after comedian Tracy Morgan, who was sitting courtside, started puking onto the court, right? So it was during the third quarter, started vomiting on the court. Also had a really bad bloody nose, so it looked like, because he had to be wheeled out in a wheelchair. He had a white towel over his face. He moved it a couple times because, of course, there's video, and you could see that it was covered in blood. A witness there says that he could barely stand up after the incident. We don't know his.
I hope he's okay.
I know. I looked just now. There's still nothing out there on his condition. But Madison Square Garden rep does say, obviously, they hope Tracy feels better soon. Look forward to seeing him back courtside. So hopefully he is okay. I mean, it's scary to see. I'm kind of bummed that there's video of all of it. Like, I know if it was me, you never want to be on video feeling your lowest like that. And of course, everyone's pulling out their cell phone. But hopefully, he's going to be all right. A Michigan baseball player went viral over the weekend for his over-the-top celebration. Did you guys see this?
Oh, the cocaine?
The cocaine, yeah. So on Sunday during Michigan's 11-0 win over USC in Ann Arbor, what's this kid's name? Mitch Voigt.
Yes.
He hit a 3-run triple, slid into third, celebrated by pretending to snort the chalk on the third baseline like it was cocaine, right? Now, it went viral. Some people thought, oh, wow, that's sweet. Good for you. That's really creative. And other people thought, well, this is disrespectful. This is not appropriate. That's awful. You should be in a lot of trouble for this. So he has issued an apology since the video went viral. Obviously kind of expressed regret over his decision, said he made an immature decision and that he takes responsibility for what he did. And he is sorry to those who may have been, negatively impacted by it. That was perfect. Perfect. Yep. That was perfect.
Yes.
If you've been used to dialing only 7 digits for a phone number when making local calls within the Detroit area, get ready to include the 313 area code as part of that process. So a new 10-digit dialing requirement begins this year when a new 679 area code will be introduced. So the number combinations with the 313 area code are just running out. There's almost no more left. So phone providers can start assigning numbers with this new area code beginning November 7th. And of course, if you have a 313 number, you keep it. It's not going anywhere. So don't worry about losing that. But just some changes coming this year. So I don't know. I know people like the 313 area code.
Sure.
I think the biggest news is that there's going to be a new area code, not the fact that you're going to have to use an area code when you dial a number.
Because most people do anyway.
Yeah.
I always thought you had to. I mean, I'm not in this area. So is it only in the 313 area code that you never needed to use? Like if I called my husband without hitting his contact and I dialed his number.
And you just left out the area code.
It wouldn't work. I tried last night because I was curious.
Did? Yeah.
Because I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So
What, was it just a dial tone or?
There was a message. There was a message that it wouldn't go through.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just put someone's number in and then you never have to remember it anyway. You just hit their
once in a
contact.
while, I guess. Maybe you do.
How many people's phone numbers do you know?
Several. I mean, I know Colin's. I know some friends. I know my parents. I still know their old work phone number. I know my old house phone number.
So you know more than I think most people do.
Yes. I know mine.
Well, there you go.
Yes, I know mine.
There's one. Do you know Lisa's?
Most of I know Lisa's, but I didn't memorize her until we had been probably married 3 years.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know Kelsey's until I started using the phone number at the Kroger reward.
Serious?
Yeah, I only know it because
That's how I learned
the grocery
Lisa's.
store checkout. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's because I've known Colin since we were 17 years old, and our phone numbers have not changed.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So you had to learn it before.
I've known it forever, and the same with my friends. I guess have been the same phone numbers as well forever. So they're just ingrained in my memory. Let's see what we got here. Oh, let's see. The Professional Women's Hockey League reached a new milestone in Detroit this weekend. So the league welcomed its 1 millionth fan on Sunday night at Little Caesars Arena. And the game between the New York Sirens and the Minnesota Frost also broke the record for most fans at a professional women's hockey game in the United States. So good for them. There were 14,288 fans in attendance.
And I think the crowd I saw was chanting, "We want a team."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go for it.
There's a demand.
Yep.
Is Scott Frost Minnesota's mascot?
Like the call.
It's Heather with the news. All right, coming up next, our March Madness draft. Heather can't win it again, can she?
No. Especially she's picking last.
Doing everything we can. It's 97.1.
Here we go. You ready, Greg? All right. Hey, Detroit, opening day is finally here this week, and I've got your drink for the season. Surfside iced tea and vodka made with a real brewed tea with summer in mind. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles. They have iced tea or lemonade variety packs, new raspberry tea vodka, or try my favorite, peach tea. It is so good, and with no carbonation, they're super easy to drink. Just look for Surfside Sunset Strips. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. There's one. Number 2. Hey, Detroit, try Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles, no troubles. That's right, 0 carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. If you're headed to a game or a backyard barbecue at a friend's house, Bring a can of iced tea or lemonade variety pack with Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset strips. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. Cool. They have to come out of school in a couple days. Yeah, this week.
Hey, FanDuel is turning up the excitement even higher for college basketball through the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Bet on the lowest winning seed of the day, and you're going to win a share of $1 million in bonus bets. Now, that's an upset that you don't necessarily need to be upset about. And it could take a 15 over a 2. Whatever you want, FanDuel is the best place to bet on the tournament. You can bet on everything from spreads to money lines and team totals, plus so much more. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/971Detroit. That's FanDuel.com/971Detroit to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your dog of the day. Because in March, anything can happen. Must be 21 or over and present in Michigan. Opt-in required. Winning pre-live money line wager on lowest seed required. Each $1 million jackpot to be split equally among all eligible winners. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Mark Champion on the call. Pistons convincing win last night. 9 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, what it would mean if he was in this division, the latest reporting. And what does it say if that move comes together? John, we've been talking a little baseball today, and I want to bring up this Dusty May conversation.
Okay.
We're just picking some of our teams for the tournament. Is the season already a success for Dusty May? Is he coaching with house money? Year one, Big Ten tournament champs, almost a 20-win improvement. What do you think?
I believe he's the first-year coach to win a Big Ten tournament.
Yes, that is correct.
So, I mean, yeah, he is playing with house money. I think he's done a tremendous job of taking this Michigan team and utilizing the transfer portal. I don't know how much NIL has played a part of this, but I know moving forward, part of his new contract was the commitment to NIL dollars. That has nothing to do with I think, this year. But I think when you look at, this is a team that, as you mentioned it, it's deeply flawed. If they've been able to withstand and overcome some of those flaws and get away with some wins, even if you're looking at the game against Maryland and the ability to go coast to coast and how they set up that play to get a win and send themselves to the finals of the Big Ten tournament. Like, I think there are just some moments where you could see that this team is well coached. Now, again, the flaws. How can you coach out some of the turnovers? That's going to be a question moving forward. Is this going to be a trait of Dusty May's teams moving forward, that they're just the turnover machines? And they need these moments at the end of the games where there is good coaching, there's good fundamentals, where you're able to, outlast some teams. We won't know that until we get down the road. But to think that this is a team that hasn't been in the tournament for, 3 years? And now all of a sudden they're a team that, you can argue whatever you want about the seeds, but they're a 5 seed. They won the Big Ten tournament in Dusty May's first year. Yeah, I think he's playing with house money at this point.
Season's a success if they get bounced in the opening game of the tournament.
I think an opening game of the tournament would be disappointing. But I think
he's got to win at least one.
Well, but I think you could still say that this season was a success. It'll be disappointing, but what was the goal coming into this season? What was the thought that this Michigan team would be coming into the season? I think most people thought that they would be a team that would be a tournament team, but not necessarily as high as a 5 seed, or arguably should have been a 4 or a 3.
I think it's a fascinating question, and we want Michigan fans to weigh in. I would say he's got to get to the Sweet 16. I think that's a fair standard for a successful year one for Dusty May. I think they get bounced in the opening weekend of the tournament, especially as a favorite in the first game.
So you think that if that's the case of a first-year coach,
but I think
that would be the standard moving forward. You should be a Sweet 16 every single year.
Well, I think it's a nod to Michigan's basketball program, which has made Final Fours and national title appearances, that Michigan has a financial commitment, right? They extended Dusty May. And I think first-year head coaches aren't held to the standard they were 10 years ago. When you have the portal, when you bring in 2 7-footers and a Power 5 guard in Donaldson, when you bring in instant, successful veteran players, it's not enough to just get in, right? I would think at a place like Michigan, it's simply not good enough to just get in. I would say no, he's not playing with house money, but I'm curious if Michigan fans feel like he's done enough in year one. Big Ten tournament title, how much weight does that carry? Getting them back to the tournament, this is they'd missed the 2 previous seasons. 248, 539, 97, 97. I would say the Sweet 16 would be a successful season. Maybe I'm setting the bar too high? Because you're saying that's already kind of, hey, this is a success and more is good, but this is a success.
I think it's been a successful year one for Dusty May, winning a Big Ten tournament. And, I mean, the ultimate goal is winning a national title and what you do in the NCAA tournament. That's the ultimate judge of where you are as a coach. But I also think they're not a lot. There are a few hangovers from the Juwan Howard era.
I mean, Juwan made 2 different Sweet 16s and 1 Elite 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, including his first tournament, Juwan went to the Elite 8 and was a Big Ten regular season champion.
Yes. But I think in year one, what they've been able to do, finishing second in the Big Ten and during the regular season, there's a bunch of ties and all that stuff, but and then winning a Big Ten tournament, I think that's a successful year one. It's not what I want to the way that this season I want to end. I want more, but I think you could sit there and say it's a successful year one.
248-539-9797. Let's get to Mark in Ypsilanti. Mark, you want to weigh in first? You're on 97.1.
Yeah, hi guys. How you doing today? I love your show.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm pulling out my brackets right now, and this is intriguing. What happens if Michigan makes the Sweet 16 and plays Auburn? Do we have enough talent to beat Auburn and possibly play Michigan State in the regional final? That would be epic. Michigan versus Michigan State in the regional final, like they did against Illinois back in '89. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think we have enough talent to get there to beat Auburn?
I mean, do I think they have? Yes, but they'd have to play a near mistake-free game. And I just don't know that this team is built to play a mistake-free game.
So Danny Wolf beat Auburn last year in the tournament, did he not? When he was a member of Yale? And this is a more talented Michigan team than that Yale team. Can they? Yes, it's March. Anything can happen. Auburn's lost 3 of their last 4. I think they're on shakier ground than you would suspect of the number 1 overall seed come tournament time. Can they? Yes. Having said that, I think John did a great job outlining the number of reasons why Michigan might not even get to that point. I mean, we could dream of a Michigan State rivalry, knockdown, drag-out showdown. Michigan is a favorite, but a slight favorite in their opening game to a team that will turn you over. And then Michigan will play, if they win that game, likely Texas A&M, who crashes the glass, which is another one of Michigan's weaknesses. And then you wonder, like, are these weaknesses at all a reflection of coaching? Right? If I told you a team had recurrent turnover issues all season long and they don't box out in their own end and they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams, you go, well, yeah, that's kind of a reflection on the coach too. And I don't say that to suggest that Dusty May was a bad hire, but to say like the year is a success just getting in the tournament, I kind of feel like that's too low of a bar. It'd be one thing if they overcome those things through a Big Ten tournament title and then a Sweet 16 berth and you go, okay, this is as far as you expected this team to go. I mean, you're the 5 seed. I think Sweet 16 makes sense, right?
Well, sure, Sweet 16 makes sense. But again, I still think it's a deeply flawed team. If they end up getting there, then why is it that they get there? Is it just better guard play and they're starting to get some shooting? Because they're still going to turn the ball over.
Yeah. It's probably someone like Donaldson or Burnett, who, when they went on a little bit of a run recently, Burnett was making big threes in the regular season. Greg, you're a Michigan Hoops fan. I say season as it sits right now, 17-win improvement, second place in the regular season. They're Big Ten tournament champs. Right now, is it a successful season? Is he coaching with house money?
I think I would like to see a tournament win.
Okay.
But I think for the most part, I'm really going to side with John here and just realizing, man, we were talking about a dead, dying Michigan program this time a year ago. And to see him revitalize that into a 25-win team, Big Ten tournament championship team is, I don't know, man. There's not a lot left to be desired for this season for me.
Okay. Couple ticket texters. Guys, we won 8 games last year. This is absolutely a success. Dusty has given me hope. Success. Sign Whitmer on the ticket text. Texter says, I think most Michigan fans would be extremely happy if this is the end of the line. If you had offered it to them 8 months ago, my expectations would be that, yeah, maybe we could make the tournament, but we wouldn't be nearly this good. And it'd be nice to win a couple games, but the season is already a success. You're shifting the goalposts. No way at the start of the year, after single digits, would the judgment be the Sweet 16. Matt in Heartland.
So I guess that would have been the question. And I don't know. I don't remember us discussing the expectations for Dusty May.
I don't think we did.
I mean, because I don't think anybody was talking about college basketball back in November.
We're thick of the Lions season.
Or December.
Yeah.
And so what was, if you could remember, what was your expectation for Dusty May and this roster going into the season?
It's so tough because he did hit the portal aggressively. He brought in Vlad Golden, who he had coached at FAU, right? Mm-hmm. He brought in Danny Wolf, who we had seen have a tournament moment and have kind of a bit of a profile, 2 7-footers. Those were turnkey guys. Trey Donaldson played on Auburn last year, a tournament team. It felt like the pieces were there for them to make a quick flip. Like, I didn't think, they were an 8-win team, so the next step is getting to 500. Like, I thought they'd be better than that, right? I think the tournament was a reasonable expectation, and that's where they are.
Yeah.
And it's just, do you think that they should have accomplished any more than this, or do you think that's enough? 248-539-9797. Texter says, already a success. Jawan took over Beeline's program that was well established. Dusty took over a program that Juwan turned into a bleep show. So what he inherited and what he's doing, success.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you talk about, him going to, what was it, an Elite Eight in his first year, like you are doing that with some of the guys that were here and coached previously. Now, by the time you have you've turned over the classes, it's your roster, it's your team, it's your program. Now, I know there were some health issues for Juwan last year, and he was limited what he could do, but it's still your program, still your guys. It just there were some things obviously that we addressed with coach to coach, major issues. How did that translate to the program? How did that translate to the players? It was not going well. And then all of a sudden, Dusty May comes in. He does revitalize the roster, completely remakes it, and then finishes second. And with 2 weeks left, had a chance to win the regular season Big Ten title.
It seems like the consensus is, yes, Michigan fans view the season as a success, even if they get eliminated in their very first game of the tournament. I ask because it's interesting. First-year coach, you typically give people grace, but first-year coach changes in the era of transfer portal at a place like Michigan where you've had so much success. So that's there for you guys. We're going to talk a little bit of football in the 9 o'clock hour. Aaron Rodgers, if he comes to the North, any concern? It's 97.1.
Brought to you by Twin Peaks. MLB Game 1 of 2025 officially in the books. They started at 6 a.m. in Japan. The Dodgers beat the Cubs 4-1. Shohei Ohtani going 2 for 5 with a double and a couple of runs scored. The cheapest ticket in the nosebleeds for that game at the Tokyo Dome, about $3,500 USD, and they will play again tomorrow. Playing the Pelicans cured what ailed the Pistons. It was a rout from the beginning, 35-13 after just one quarter in New Orleans. Eventually, Detroit defeated them 127-81 to get to 38-31 on the year. They're now one game behind both Indiana and Milwaukee for the 4 and 5 seeds with 13 games left to play before the playoffs. Next up is a trip to Miami tomorrow night. With Michigan hoops matched up against a relatively unknown UC San Diego team on Thursday night, head coach Dusty May laid out how they're built when on WWJ's Inside Michigan Basketball. That coach says they'll treat their prep like any other road trip as they get ready to fly out to Denver for the first round. And the tournament itself will get going tonight with 2 of the first 4 games down in Dayton, Ohio. 16 seed, the Red Flash of St. Francis taking on the Alabama State Hornets. And then North Carolina will play San Diego State to move on as an 11 seed. At the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
One big domino still out there in the NFL free agency world. You got teams waiting to make decisions at quarterback, and it all centers around the egomaniac himself, Aaron Rodgers. What's he going to do? As we sit here more than a week into free agency, you can find news stories that have connected him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mm-hmm. And New York Giants could use a quarterback. Sure, connect some dots there. But the most interesting one, John, especially for us in the NFC North, is a potential return to the division, the Minnesota Vikings. What do you make of the potential of Aaron Rodgers coming to the North?
It seems very Brett Favre-ish because that's the same. And I just can't get around the weirdness of what that feels like if he continues to follow the same path of franchise destination that Aaron Rodgers, going from the Packers to the Jets to the Vikings. And I'm not sure what it is that he is after if he does go to – now, I understand the franchises. Right? If you go to Minnesota, you're going to have a much better offensive line than you would in Pittsburgh. Now, in terms of wide receiving core, yes, Justin Jefferson I still think is one of the top, if not the top receiver, top 2. Maybe it's the combination of Jefferson and Addison along with Hawkinson. But then you look at Pittsburgh, DK Metcalf, and what's the kid out of Georgia?
Pickens.
George Pickens. right? And they do have a good tight end as well. So you're going to have, good receivers to throw the ball to. The Giants, I don't know why he'd be protected the Giants. I don't know why he'd want to go with the Giants. That to me is like an absolute disaster. You're not going to be protected. You have one receiver to throw the ball to. You get no running game. And that's where I think the Minnesota Vikings, they do have a running game. But the question is, they just drafted J.J. McCarthy, number 10 overall. Are you going there? Can Aaron Rodgers go there and be a quote-unquote mentor? Is he going there? Are they telling him, hey, you're going to be the starter? Does he just sign a 1-year deal? Is it going to be 2 years and then, hey, year 2, you're a mentor? What are they doing with J.J. McCarthy?
It would be odd because they used a high draft pick on J.J. McCarthy, and everybody thought, boy, he's got all the tools, and now you've got this offense. You hand him the keys. Do you really want to burn 2 of the 4 years on that rookie deal with him not playing? Yeah, I think that'd be odd. In terms of Aaron playing for the Vikings, I think it would be so much fun to have him back in the division because Kirby Joseph is his father and will likely pick him off at least 2 times. And it's beautiful, John, because when he was in Green Bay, he called the Lions that team, and that team flipped the script while he was still in this division. No, I wouldn't be concerned.
I think you're underestimating. I think Aaron Rodgers, is he still a top 5 quarterback? No. Is he a top 10? Probably not. But I still think he is, given the right circumstances, a top 15. Now, I don't know how much you could take away the weirdness and how much, but weirdness isn't necessarily going to win or lose you games. It's how does he relate to his teammates? How does he work with his teammates? And I think there is major questions, but if he figures that out, if he solves that equation, I think it could be a major problem if he goes to Minnesota with a coach like Kevin O'Connell.
And I respect Kevin O'Connell, but you said if he goes to a good situation, that was the belief when he went to the Jets. They had Garrett Wilson. They even gave him Devontae Adams. They had Breece Hall. They used free agency and draft picks on the offensive line. Their defense at the time he arrived was very
garbage.
Good. My point, though, is when he arrived there, the thought was they're a quarterback away. They're a 6-7 win team with Zach Wilson. Aaron's going to elevate them to at least a playoff team, maybe even a Super Bowl team. And then we fast forward to a car crash of epic proportion. Like they were no good, and to absolve him of that is wrong. He was a part of the problem. So
yes, he was.
Then be the problem in Minnesota. I can't wait.
I'm not ready to sit there and say that Aaron Rodgers can't win in Minnesota and can't be a key cog. Do I think he wins a Super Bowl? No. Do I think he could win a division? Yeah. With that defense, yes.
With the Lions.
Do you want me to slow down for you?
No, I'm just not understanding it.
I do believe he could win the NFC North. Is that clear enough?
No, I just want to make sure everybody else heard that too. We didn't watch the same guy last year.
You were big on the Jets going into the season. I know I ribbed you a few times.
I wasn't, because I thought there were coaching issues. There were bigger issues than just Aaron Rodgers. Was Aaron Rodgers a part of the problem? Absolutely. Do I think he's forgotten how to run an offense? Do I think he's forgotten how to throw a ball? He can't throw it like he used to. He might not be able to be as elusive as he used to. You're going to have to protect him. The Vikings have invested in the offensive line. They could protect him. The Vikings have one of the best receiving cores from tight end to receiver plus a run game. They're not going to have to rely on Aaron Rodgers to be Aaron Rodgers from 10 years ago. They just needed him to be a top 15. They need him to be better than Sam Darnold. Is he better than Sam Darnold?
I honestly don't know at this point in his career. I really don't.
Boy.
I don't.
Wow.
Well,
So given the option of signing Sam Darnold as your starting quarterback or Aaron Rodgers, who do you think gives you the best chance to win?
For Minnesota, because they already had continuity and stability, Sam Darnold. And I know what I'm saying.
I don't want to hire you as a GM at all.
The right answer is to go to your rookie quarterback who you just drafted in J.J. McCarthy. If you have to bring Aaron Rodgers in and hold his hand, just skip the experiments.
That's not the question. The question is, can Aaron Rodgers still be a successful quarterback in the NFL?
I think he's done. And again,
there's no possibility of him being able to go there and win.
You're talking about a division where the Detroit Lions still preside, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Do I think the Lions still win the division? Yes. Do I think it's a major concern if he is the quarterback in Minnesota? Yes.
Do I think as a Lions fan I'm licking my chops at the possibility of playing him twice in a season? Absolutely.
I think you're the Jets was an epic disaster. Part of the problem was Aaron Rodgers. Part of the problem was ownership. Part of the problem was the front office, the coaching staff, and the disaster from top down that organization is and has been.
But, John, I'm surprised by this. Not that I think he could have success. This is such a weird dynamic here because Darnold had a better season last year. Statistically, his QBR was like 10 points
and
higher.
John would point out he was on a better team,
and that's
which is
usually
fine.
With a better OC.
Right.
Yeah, but how quickly does Aaron Rodgers try to get somebody fired at this stop? I mean, that's who he is.
That's the thing, the dysfunction he brings. Can he completely wipe his hands of that, put his ego aside, and basically go be a game manager? I don't think that human being is capable of that. I think he's gone down such a road from the type of person he is to where he is now. Is he going to stop McAfee? Like, if I'm Kevin O'Connell, because that's the word, is that really it's up to O'Connell here to a degree. Do we want to get serious about this or not? I could ruin everything I've built here because I'm bringing in somebody that can bring a toxic nature.
Well, you guys...
It's a risk. There's no question about it. I'm not denying that.
Well, ask yourself the question here. We think Aaron Glenn is a good judge of character. He said, I want no part of Aaron Rodgers.
He wants to start fresh with his own guys.
But is that not a red flag? They don't have some path to a quarterback. And even they said, you know what, dude? You're a big enough jackass that I don't want to have you a part of the organization.
Aaron Rodgers is a good guy.
But that matters.
Yes, it does matter. But does he feel like, I mean, he is one of the most self-centered individuals. Is he also looking at it going, you know what, my last 2 years in New York, maybe my last year in Green Bay, did I somehow tarnish my legacy? Can I bring that back by swallowing my pride for 1 year, going to the Minnesota Vikings, and with this receiving core being protected? Like, I didn't think it was going to work to begin with, in part, and I said this when he went to the Jets, that offensive line was absolute hot garbage. And what happened? 7 plays into that season, he was under duress, blew out his Achilles. And I don't know that he was necessarily fully right last year. I do think there is a world, however unlikely, that he is able to swallow his pride, be a game manager, and win a lot of games with Minnesota next year.
So there is at least some concern if he goes in the division.
Yeah, I think it would be irresponsible not to look at that as a concern.
You guys let us know. We got calls, 248-539-9797. It's a domino that's still waiting to fall. Aaron Rodgers, maybe a Viking. It's 97-1.
Hey, if you don't want to be in pictures, maybe you don't just want to be in the front, but you don't want to be in pictures at all because you don't like the way you look in pictures, you're not comfortable in your clothes or your own skin, don't avoid it any longer. Address the situation. Give Ideal You a shout. You can reach them on the web at idealu.us, and you could picture yourself right now 40 pounds lighter in just 40 days. That's right. You could lose up to 40 pounds in 40 days with Ideal You. And I know the program really works because I lost 50 in 40 days. And since I started the program, I'm down 70. So not only can you lose weight, you can keep it off. You can stay on the program. They're going to assign you a weight loss coach that's with you every step of the way. They're going to help you reach your goals. And they're also going to help you keep the weight off. They're also going to let you know where you want to start. If you book today, Ideal You will give you a free body composition analysis. That's a $150 value, absolutely free. And you're going to find out all you need to know about your body. You're going to set your goals and be on the path to weight loss. Book your free consultation right now at idealu.us. Ideal You is different than other weight loss companies. It works, and it works fast. Lose up to 40 pounds in 40 days and be happy taking those pictures again. Book your free consultation right now at idealu.us to get your body composition analysis. $150 value, absolutely free.
Hey guys, spring into savings with unbelievable deals at Moran Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer for 2024, and they're doing it again in 2025. If you need a truck that works as hard as you do, the 2025 Silverado 4-wheel drive LT Crew Cab, $299 a month, 24 months, and that's only with $19.99 down. Everyone gets employee pricing. It's Moran Chevrolet, where you always get the best price, period. Visit MoranExpress.com. Stop by. They're on Gratiot north of 15 Mile in Clinton Township. Chevrolet, together. Let's drive. Well, John, I think you might have stepped in it. You got ticket texters saying, I never agree with Costa, but now I am. Texter goes, John glazing a washed-up Aaron Rodgers was not on my bingo card for this year. The mental gymnastics to justify it is crazy.
I don't think there's any mental gymnastics. Do I think they ultimately do it? No, I don't. I think it's a huge risk. And I don't think Kevin O'Connell has to take that risk. They've got JJ, and if he's going to be healthy enough to play the season, start the season, you go with the rookie. But coming out last year, of the quarterbacks that were taking in the first round, who did we say still needed time to develop? It was JJ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just wasn't in an offense that threw the ball around a lot. Does he have a great arm? Yes. Can he be mobile? Yes. But just wasn't asked to make a lot of those decisions. And I think if you're given the option of having a veteran quarterback for a year, because JJ didn't get the practice last year. He didn't get to do anything that you would say, hey, we are developing a quarterback. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Look at some of the other quarterbacks, Jordan Love in division. Now, I'm not going to compare JJ to Jordan Love. I think JJ will be better. But taking that time to sit and learn and go through practice, go through preparation, go through all of that. Now, it doesn't matter who the starting quarterback is. I think there is some value in seasoning a quarterback until he's absolutely ready to play. Did he get enough of that under Sam Darnold last year? I don't know.
Look, on the surface, you'd say Minnesota won 14 games. They're a quarterback away from being a real challenge, right? A real threat. And you said, yeah, you'd have some concern if Aaron Rodgers joined this division with the Minnesota Vikings. Do we view Aaron Rodgers as one of these guys that you plug and play at quarterback? Because the Jets felt that way. And what they got was a prideful, stubborn, egomaniac who sabotaged the organization.
Well, he sabotaged it in the offseason.
They gave him his receivers and coach.
Hurt.
No, but they gave him his receivers and his coaches, and they fired the head coach and anything for Aaron. And the result was they weren't any better than they were with Zach Wilson. So, yeah, I'm not Sam Darnold's biggest fan, but there was at least continuity with Sam or upside with JJ. If they brought in Aaron Rodgers, I'd say bring it on. He wasn't good enough to beat the Lions 3 years ago. And now I'm supposed to believe that older, more stubborn, less mobile Aaron Rodgers is a real threat. I don't feel that way.
Oh, well, I know you like to pick and choose your text. How about we take a couple calls?
He sees what's on the screener. Joe, let me have it. You're on 97.1.
Hey, guys. Love the topic. I totally disagree with you, Costa. I think if the Vikings get Rodgers, they will win the NFC North. And just think about it this way. Sam Darnold won them 14 games last year. It literally took a winner-take-all game just for the Lions to win the North. And now that the Vikings upgraded their O-line, they have a great coach in O'Connell, and they have great receivers. And let's be honest, Brad hasn't really shown to spend big. And look at our schedule. Like, I don't know, why you don't think that having a great veteran quarterback like Rodgers.
Because he's not a great veteran quarterback.
He's not as good as he used to be, but Minnesota is a much better situation than the Jets. O'Connell is a much better coach than what he had with the Jets.
What about the Packers roster 3 years ago with LaFleur, another one of these great offensive coaches? Wasn't good enough to beat the Lions. And he's not the quarterback he was then.
Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, O'Connell's a great quarterback.
Breece
coach.
Hall. Come on, we could do this with the Jets weapons he had last year. Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson. We can do this.
But the situations are different. The situations are different.
Yeah, one didn't have Aaron Rodgers' toxic ass in the locker room. That was the difference.
I want you to think about our roster, too. Hutchinson's coming off an injury. McNeil won't be ready to start the year. Last year was one of our best teams ever, and it took a winner-take-all game just to beat these guys with Sam Darnold. What makes you think that having Aaron Rodgers go to the Vikings is going to make it easier for us? And by the way,
look, Joe,
our division is tougher. We have a much harder schedule. We have our best defensive players coming off an injury. McNeil's also coming off an injury. We lost both of our coordinators. How do we know that? How do we know that we're still going to be even good? Like, I still think we'll be good, but
Joe,
I think it is delusional to sleep on the Vikings. I think any team in this division, I think this division is wide open next year, honestly.
Joe, I think you're doing a lot of heavy lifting to prop up Aaron to the point where we just asked the question, are the Lions even going to be any good? That's what just happened on our radio station.
No, and I'm not sitting here saying that I don't think the Lions can certainly win the division. I'll probably pick them to win the division, even if Aaron Rodgers is with the Vikings. But I think it's not doing your due diligence to think what would happen if Aaron Rodgers was in Minnesota. Could he completely derail that franchise? Yes, that is 100% a possibility. Could he also go there with that receiving core? And here's the biggest difference for Aaron Rodgers, who is not the same quarterback that he was even 3 years ago, but certainly 5 or 10 years ago. It's about protection. Aaron Rodgers is now a pocket passer. He's not going to extend plays. He's not going to pick up anything with his feet. He's an immobile statue. So what do? You have to protect him. The New York Jets never did that. Even though they tried to do it with the draft, they tried to add some offensive linemen. It was an epic failure. He needs to be well protected. He has that possibility with the Minnesota Vikings. He could still be a guy that can distribute the ball, and if he could swallow his pride and not be a complete D-bag, he could certainly win a lot of games and be a threat to the Lions.
2022, Aaron Rodgers plays the Detroit Lions. This is pre-Achilles. This is with pass protection. This is before the Lions had solidified themselves as a back-to-back division winner. The last time Rodgers played this team, he threw for 205 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. The game before that same season, he also lost and threw 3 picks on that day. That's before Aaron became this, both in terms of the injury and more outspoken, obnoxious, poor culture guy. I don't share this concern that you have it, but clearly people have thoughts. 248-539-9797. Next up is Greg in Royal Oak. Greg, you're on 97.1.
Hey, guys, I got to push back on you, Costa, but really quick. Let me preface this. I hate Aaron Rodgers. I hope the next time he gets an enema, they accidentally give him jalapeno habanero oil. And, I just don't care for the guy.
I'm with you. I don't know about the enema, but I'm with you. I don't particularly care for him either.
So this isn't about him at all. This is about going the other way, and this is more towards Costa. Costa, you said you got to go with McCarthy in this situation. I think you absolutely cannot go with him. He's a rookie. He missed all last year with the injury. This, like the previous caller said, this team's 1 quarterback away. I'm not saying Rodgers is the guy. I'm just saying McCarthy isn't the guy. You cannot go with a rookie in this situation. Similar to the Lions, the Vikings are built to win now. They got the receivers. They have a decent running back. They can protect the quarterback. They can play defense. They got a tight end. It's all right there. And that rookie quarterbacks hit the wall. Mm-hmm. He's going to have issues reading defenses, coverages, and even if you think, oh, no, he's going to be the rookie that does it, listen, you saw the miracle last year in Jaden Daniels. There's no way a rookie quarterback's taken another two seasons in a row. It's just not happening.
Well, it'd be 3 in a row because Stroud did it the year before that, too. So we actually have a little bit of evidence of leaning on a high-upside youngster. It's not so much that I think J.J. would step in immediately and win this division. It's that I think there's far more upside and there's a lot more downside with Aaron.
The risk is certainly there. There's no question. I'm not saying there's not a risk. I'm just saying you can't discount who he is as a quarterback. He has not forgotten everything there is that he's learned about being a quarterback. Now, if he can be that pocket passer, if they can protect him, I just think, I don't know that you're going to have all those missed throws that Sam Darnold had in that game that was in Ford Field at the end of the season.
Want to take a look at the screen and see how many of them agree with you and how many agree with me? We'll figure that out coming up next. 97.1.
Hey, I do want to tell you about Abraham and Rose. If you have to deal with the IRS, you certainly don't want to do it alone. You want to be able to have a company that specializes in all types of tax problems. And with dealing with the world's largest civil law enforcement agency, your case could take a lot of twists and turns. Your first call should be to a company like I just mentioned, Abraham and Rose. They're prepared to advocate on your behalf, no matter if it's civil or criminal, or even the Michigan Department of Treasury. So whether it's personal income tax or business payroll taxes, you're going to need a real team of local lawyers, not a tax organization with a random individual you're never going to meet. All you have to do is visit abrahamandrose.com today or call 248-539-5040 so you never personally have to deal with the IRS.
All right, we're going to get to the phones. We brought up a big domino that has yet to fall in free agency. Aaron Rodgers, teams waiting and waiting to make their quarterback decisions. Could he end up in Minnesota with the Vikings? John said, yeah, there'd be some concern.
Yeah, I think there would certainly be some. I think he'd be better than Sam Darnold was.
And I'm not so sure about that. He is not the quarterback he once was.
Not saying he is.
He has mobility issues, which I know you'll minimize with their pass protection, But even when he was pre-Achilles with pass protection in Green Bay, he wasn't good enough to beat the Lions. And the Lions are much improved from 2 seasons ago. So, hey, God bless. If they want to take a downgrade at quarterback and throw their franchise into some turmoil, give Kirby Joseph a few more interceptions next season, it's all good with me. Let's get to Brian in Detroit. Brian, you're on 97.1.
Good morning, fellas. John, I'm with you 100%.
Thank you.
He's better than J.J. McCarthy right now. And, John, do the players hate him, or is it just the media and the people outside of the locker room that hate him? They just don't like he do podcasts and act a little strange. Because I haven't heard no player say anything negative about the man. So, and he'll be a heck of a up. He's better than Donaldson. Why do you think Minnesota didn't sign him? Because he played horrible. He lost it for them. That's why they didn't sign him. If he would have came through, he would have got a bigger contract from Minnesota. Why do you think they moving on from him? I'm with you, John, 100%. If they get him with all them weapons and that protection, he would do a great job. I don't care about the podcast and acting fool. That's just people on the outside who don't like the man. That's all that is. Am I right or wrong, John?
Well, I wish I could tell you one way or another if you're right or wrong. There is certainly from the media a disdain for Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to paint him in bad light for a lot of different reasons and about any situation they can. In talking about the players, I was never a teammate of his. We talked to TJ. TJ was a teammate of his, and to this day still remains a close friend, still loved being a teammate of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So I don't know if that's changed since TJ played, because it's not like it was last year or the year before. It's been some time.
John, all I hear is people on the outside, the media, and people that don't like him talk about it. I haven't heard nothing in the locker room, and I don't care how Donaldson did last year. He's not better than Aaron Rodgers. Donaldson blew it for Minnesota.
Brian,
that's why they didn't sign that bum.
Brian, if you want an insight into how his teammates or organizations feel about him, why do you think the Jets aren't even in consideration? Why do you think they released him?
Jets got a new coach. He might want to go in a different direction. He ain't worked with the man. He wasn't on his team. So he would just want to go in a new direction.
We should ask Robert Saleh what he thinks of Aaron Rodgers. I think he'd have a different opinion.
It's easy for Aaron Glenn to say we're going to go in a new direction. Who's going to be their quarterback? Because when the season gets started, they don't have a quarterback. Aaron Glenn might wish he had Aaron Rodgers.
I just think if you ask Robert Saleh, I think he might give you a little different answer. I think if you ask people in New York, you might get a little different answer than people like TJ who knew him when times were good in Green Bay.
But I also think it all comes from leadership. I don't think they were getting good leadership from their ownership, who was way involved. They weren't certainly getting good leadership from their general manager.
What was the story with the owner's kid and the Madden ratings? Yeah, that's not a good situation.
No. So I think it was a situation that you put somebody in there like Aaron Rodgers, it was a powder keg and it exploded. And part of why it exploded, and it was out of his control, it was out of Robert Saleh's control, was the Achilles injury.
Wasn't TJ out of Green Bay before Rodgers kind of started throwing McCarthy under the bus?
I think so,
I'm pretty sure. I think Aaron Rodgers has changed. There's a very
possible.
About 8 years or so now, he's a different person than he used to be. I don't think he's capable of changing. I would argue, John, that he would rival Clinton Portis if you actually played with him right now. Back in the day when he was playing at a Hall of Fame level, you would have loved it. But
it's possible, sure. All I'm saying is on the football side of things, if he is able to, or if Kevin O'Connell, that organization is able to manage Aaron Rodgers, and it may be too big of a task. They may be looking at this going, no way. And if they do, then they'll move on. They don't have to do this.
He has to humble himself. I don't believe the person is capable of doing that.
We might not see.
Matt on a cell, you're on 97.1.
Good morning. I usually don't agree with Costa. Nothing personal, but I agree this time. Aaron Rodgers is a joke, and I hope the Vikings do sign him because Aiden Hutchinson is going to come for him. He's going to get so many sacks from him. I hope they do sign him because Lions got something for him. And I think the Jets didn't sign him back because I don't know if it was last year or the year before. He skipped like the first few practice things because he went on his little ayahuasca trip and decided he was good enough. He didn't have to go to practice. I don't think he's capable of being humble or not being a D-bag. So, yeah, I hope the Vikings do sign him because Lions got something for him.
Bring him to the North. Make it happen. All right, Teddy, you're terrified of Aaron Rodgers. You're on 97.1.
I mean, I am. Similar to a previous caller, though, my focus is more looking at JJ. Look, I'm kind of concerned of the Vikings even with JJ. I mean, Green Bay, Chicago, I mean, it's going to be a hard division either way.
Mm-hmm.
If it's anything like it was last year, one game could make that difference. And I don't think JJ is good enough for that. And full disclosure, I'm a State fan, but I think you both would agree with me that U of M didn't succeed as much as they did by JJ. It was more their defense, offensive line, and running abilities.
Yeah,
he made the throws when he had to, but he's on a team now that, has Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, and Naylor, and he's playing in a league, and the NFL has become a pass-dominant league. Until proven otherwise, I don't think JJ will be amazing. I think it's more of an investment, and Vikings are ready to go now. And, I think Aaron is a huge upgrade over JJ for this year. I mean, obviously, JJ is a much better investment, and he might be better, than what Aaron Rodgers would be, but this is their year.
Well, yes, they won 14 games last year, so I'm not going to dispute that they are in a win-now position. But I think with Aaron Rodgers, you're taking on the baggage, and that may weigh you down versus someone like JJ where it feels like there's more to unlock, right? That's the thought. They believed enough and thought enough of him to draft him in the first round thinking, well, yeah, we'll block for him, we'll run, we'll play pass, we'll let him uncork that arm and make big throws down the field. Well, then do it, right? I mean, that would make more sense to me than bringing in Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's a major risk and one that I don't think Minnesota has to take. But I don't know what they're going to do. I still think Aaron Rodgers can be a good quarterback. Not what he was, but I do think it's letting a bull into a china shop, and he could just completely break everything.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I know it's what you're hoping for, but I do think there's cause for concern.
David in Detroit, you're on 97.1.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good.
I just wanted to say I think the Vikings signing Aaron Rodgers would be a big mistake. Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown for 300 yards since COVID, like before COVID. And he's a locker room problem. I think he had a great team built around him last year. He's scared to get hit. So, if we want the Lions to win, sure, go sign Aaron Rodgers, but I think for the long run, not that I care about the Vikings, I think for J.J. McCarthy's development, you start J.J. McCarthy next year.
Yeah, Aaron was immunized from throwing 300-yard games.
Well, I mean, in 2021, he did win an MVP.
I'm sorry, what year was that?
21. It was after COVID.
2021?
Yeah. In 2021, he threw for 37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and was the NFL MVP. Okay.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I just don't think.
I don't have the breakdown of games.
He didn't throw for 300 yards last year.
David, he did in one game.
No, he did. And I know I can guarantee you he didn't throw for 300 yards in 2023.
Yeah, well, the Achilles injury. He had one game last year near the end of the season. David, I did see that stat going around. He had a very long stretch of games without throwing for 300 yards. He did last year one time in an OT game against the Miami Dolphins. You had him speechless when you pulled that up. John put out the hardware on the table, said MVP.
Yeah.
All right, 248-539-9797. The Aaron Rodgers thing is out there. We're going to end the show with a few thoughts on the Tigers. We still got to get to Heather's news. Make sure we get you the latest on what's going on. 248-539-9797. John, couple ticket texts on this Aaron Rodgers thing. Texter says, don't forget he did nothing to help Zach Wilson in his position after he got hurt. So the idea of him being a mentor for a J.J. McCarthy doesn't really make a lot of sense. Texter says TJ being a friend with Rodgers is more of an indictment on TJ than it is validation of Aaron Rodgers.
Poor judgment on TJ's part.
And it says, I don't think LaFleur liked Aaron much at the end of the last couple years in Green Bay either. So we'll take some ticket texts. We'll get to Heather's news. We'll add a couple Tigers thoughts, and we'll get out of here. It's next, 97.1.
Hey, FanDuel is turning the excitement up even higher for college basketball through the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Bet on the lowest winning seed of the day, and you're going to win a share of $1 million in bonus bets. Now, that's an upset that you don't have to be upset about. And maybe it's a 16 over a 1, 15 over a 2, whatever it is, you can bet on all of them. FanDuel is the best place to bet on the tournament. You can bet on everything from spreads to money lines to team totals. And there's so much more. So download the app and visit FanDuel.com/971Detroit to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your dog of the day. Because in March, anything can certainly happen. Must be 21 or over and present in Michigan. Opt-in required. Winning pre-live moneyline wager on lowest seed required. Each $1 million jackpot to be split equally among all eligible winners. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, let's get to Heather's news.
Well, a lot of people are worried about Tracy Morgan. Man, it was a really scary scene. He was seen violently ill at last night's Knicks game. He was wheelchaired out, and he was throwing up on the court. He sits courtside a lot, throwing up on the court. Somebody, of course, took a video of all of it and posted it online, so you could see that it looked like he also was suffering from a pretty significant nosebleed because he had a white towel over his face that you could see was covered in blood. So really sad news. We don't know exactly what happened, how he's doing. I looked online, but a lot of people are sharing, hopeful messages online, including Ben Stiller. He wrote a little message just, sending good thoughts and good feelings his way. So hopefully he's going to be okay. Kind of a scary scene, though. The game had to be stopped for about 10 minutes because clearly they needed to clean
up the floor.
Yeah. We talked a lot about Gibby this morning and the fact that he's not going to be on TV broadcasts anymore for the Tigers. And Matt Shepard kind of blasted the Tigers after this news came out on Monday, jumped on X and said, "Shame on the Tigers. This was not his decision. Gibby is one of the best teammates I've ever had in broadcasting. He loves the team and the city and prepares better than any analyst I've ever worked with." Now, Gibby has released his own statement as well, basically saying that he is incredibly grateful for all the support he's gotten from the Tigers, from the Illiches, from all of the fans, right? And he says that he's going to be focusing on his current health while also continuing to support and encourage others battling Parkinson's.
Look, if that was true, Gibby would be the one to deliver that message, not someone flying in, putting their own 2 cents on it, who may have an axe to grind with the organization.
Mm-hmm. It's his news to share.
And we wish Gibby the best in this next step of his life here because he's a good sport. We loved having him on last year.
Sure.
Yeah, and he can call in anytime. Tiger legend, of course.
Maybe he will. The price of recreational marijuana is dropping in Michigan, and because of that, businesses, especially growers, are starting to struggle. So the average retail price of an ounce of recreational marijuana dropped to $65.21 in February, which is down 30% compared to February of last year. And according to the executive director of the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association, growers are really struggling right now to recoup the cost of cultivation, and they say that we're probably going to see a lot of businesses fail this year in particular. So, let's see. Oh, Derek Jeter. He will be the main speaker at Michigan's spring commencement ceremony on Saturday, May 3rd. And he's also one of 4 people that are being considered to receive honorary degrees from the university. So the others include leaders in athletics, business, astrophysics, medicine, but he is being recommended for an honorary Doctor of Law degree. And it sounds like the Board of Regents will cast their final votes for approval on Thursday.
How do they decide? Like you say, honorary law degree. What
I have no
are the
idea.
other options?
I've never.
Yeah, I mean, the honorary degrees are given out all the time.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how
I just
they
didn't know
decide.
how they decide. Yeah.
But the others that are on there, a Doctor of Law, Doctor of Science, Doctor of Science degree.
I would
how they
expect that
decide,
would
I
be
don't know.
their specialty.
I'm
or
guessing.
an area that they've made a name for themselves.
Doctor of Baseball.
Oh,
sure. Why not?
There you go.
Why not? The parents of the University of Pittsburgh student that disappeared while on spring break in the Dominican Republic are now requesting authorities to declare their daughter dead. They made the formal request to basically close out the investigation on Monday, and it sounds like the parents want closure themselves, right? They want this to be over. They acknowledge that no foul play is being part of her disappearance. It's a really sad and tragic story, and I can only imagine what they're going through as well. I know that they've been down in the Dominican Republic and hoping for obviously a different outcome, but it sounds like...
Well, a different outcome or at the very least some answers.
Oh, yes. Obviously, they'd love to have found their daughter alive and well, but yes, it sounds like really there are no answers, but you can only take what you can find, and they want closure. So let's see. Do I have more time?
Yeah, get one more.
Sorry, I'm not used to this weird time.
I know, we
Okay,
moved
we're
you
almost
around.
done. I'm like, it's 9:55. Wait, the show's almost
Heather,
over.
take us to 10.
Okay, finally. So, ladies, if you're out there and you're dating maybe a new guy, or maybe you've been with somebody for a long time, here's some some red flags, I guess you could say. 8 phrases that, when used frequently by a man, may suggest that he just kind of sucks.
All right, let's see how many that we use, John. Let's see.
Yeah.
I hope you don't use any of these. You're too sensitive.
Yeah,
Come on now. Let's not make
no.
anybody question their own feelings. I was just joking. After I said a really rude I was
after
just
you
joking.
said something very mean.
Yeah. You're just like your mother.
Oh, no.
I don't remember saying that. I didn't say that. I don't remember saying that.
Oh, kind of gaslighting.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you loved me, you would.
Oh, guilt tripping.
Yeah,
Oh,
not
boy.
good. Can't you take a hint?
Call your partner stupid.
You're always, or you're never, whatever. And it's your fault.
Yeah.
This is all your
not
fault.
a great way to maintain a relationship.
No, not at all. So, yeah, you might want to hit the brakes on something if it's you hear those phrases a lot. You guys probably don't care much about this, but I'm sure maybe your daughters, your wife.
Yeah.
Forever 21 closing their doors, filed for bankruptcy. This is like a store I shopped at back in the day. It's been a long time since I've done shopping there, but they plan to close all of their doors in the U.S., including all 9 stores here in Michigan. So liquidation sales will continue while operations wind down. It's just like a go-to place for cheap clothes, right? Especially back in the day when you don't have a lot of money, right out of high school. You need somewhere to go shopping.
Huh.
You can always find something at Forever 21. So sad to see it go.
That's too bad.
That is too bad.
It's Heather
Just
with
another
the
place
news.
I don't have to stop in the mall.
Oh, there you go. We did have baseball played today. We're officially into baseball season.
Yes.
Dodgers pick up their first of many wins this season, 4-1 against the Chicago Cubs. They played at the Tokyo Dome at 6 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. 6 in the morning, East Coast time.
Yes.
Standard time.
Yes.
American time.
American.
I'm trying to figure out I couldn't remember what Stoney said. American time.
And they play tomorrow. Same thing. One more game.
So we get to watch baseball again.
Yeah, it was all over again. Yeah, it's a little 2-game series between the Dodgers and the Cubs. And then the Dodgers' next game will be when they host the Tigers the 27th. And that'll be our first game for our team.
Okay. Yep.
Baseball's here, man.
Excited about it.
Yeah, here we go.
Can't wait.
How do you feel about this Tigers stuff? Because I feel like all the news we're getting is negative news. It's like, hey, Parker Meadows and the nerve won't wake up. Vierling's got a shoulder. Jace Young, who they were rooting for to make the team, he's going to start in AAA. Like, how do you feel?
Oh, I'm very nervous about how this season's going to go. We all wanted them to continue the progress, the momentum from last year into this year. Maybe they will. But what I don't want to get to is a month into it trying to decide, well, when are they going to bring Jace Young back up because we want to see him develop? Or is Spencer Torkelson for real? Are we going to see him be a good bat? Colt Keith, can he play first? Can he, take steps offensively that we want to see him take? I don't want to be playing the individual progress game.
Yeah. They got a tough schedule. They got some guys that have been displaced because of injuries. I don't know that they're going to be any better at the plate, and there's questions if they're going to be any better defensively. The pitching is what can stabilize them and keep them afloat, and they're going to need that. It's going to be the same thing as last year. Don't waste the starting pitching. Get the most out of the starting pitching that you can. Gator's in the studio. Gator, we did a March Madness draft earlier, and if people want to see it, it's up right now, Costa and Jansen on Twitter. But here are our teams. We each ended up with 4 teams. Does any one's draft stand out to you? I'm going to take that as a no. Nobody's draft stands out to you.
So, you're looking at the one who got all the 1 seeds.
Yeah.
And they basically spread out. Everybody got a 1 seed except Heather.
Yeah, except me.
She got two seeds.
Because I won
we
last
buried her in the
Spartans and the
draft.
Vols. Yeah.
I'll say this. You see Duke, and that's automatically where I go to every year. So Cookies has Duke.
There we go at the first pick.
We talked yesterday about the Big Ten team we think can contend outside, let's say, forget Michigan State, but what's the other Big Ten team that you think is there? And Doug and I think both said Maryland.
Oh, I have Maryland's.
Oh.
Is that Purdue underneath it?
I have Purdue as well.
Gonzaga?
Greg likes the old school logos, and then, I had the last pick, so I took the Zags.
Yeah, look, tournament, it's not
It's a
dumb to
crapshoot.
take Gonzaga, yeah. They always seem to play well in the tournament.
But Heather won last year, and we just need someone but Heather to win this year.
Why? I think it's hilarious.
She just embarrasses us. She beats us in the pig.
Yeah.
She beats us in the
Got a
tournament.
trophy, dude.
You got a trophy in the studio.
You don't think she earned that trophy?
She earned it.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like her to stop
That's
earning
not a
it.
fluke. That's the whole season, man.
I did. I just dominated the whole season.
Lean into it.
It was really great.
Yeah.
Heather's teams, for those that want to pick their champions in their bracket, MSU, Tennessee, Texas Tech, and Clemson. That's what she ended
Sounds
up
good
with.
to me.
All right. What are you guys doing today?
Well, we got a basketball team just annihilating people last night. So
I know.
will
It was done by mid-first quarter.
talk about
Really
them.
was.
We'll get into some reasons to be optimistic about our Detroit Tiger baseball team. We got some Lions off-season news, so it's going to be a busy one.
Perfect. Carson Anderson next, 97.1.
All right, Carson Anderson, 97 a ticket. Hope you're doing well on a Tuesday. Sun's out and shining. Going to be warmer today. How are you today, Scott?
I'm fine.
That's good.
Yeah. I was a little concerned when I left the house. Got a later start to leave the house than I expected because dog was outside and I smelled a skunk outside. So I was getting real nervous when that is out there. Now, I'm knocking on wood here. To this date, only once has the encounter resulted in, oh crap, she just got sprayed by a skunk. So I've been fortunate with that. Although last night, I'm not certain this was it, but I feel like I have a 70% certainty of this. I'm trying to go to. I stayed up way too late watching TV and getting trapped on my phone and looking at stuff on the internet, whatever.
Put a pin in that. I want to circle back.
It just happens, right? So now it's time to go to bed, dude. It's like 1:00 in the morning. Let's go to bed. And the dog's outside, and I hear her barking in a different kind of bark. I'm like, uh-oh, what's that? And then I hear other barking, like there's other dogs.
Wait, so your dog is roaming around outside at...
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she goes outside, so I want her to do what she's got to do before you go to bed. And I hear this other barking, it sounds like from a neighbor's house. And I can't see what's going on, but then it becomes multiple barks. And I figured, oh, it's just maybe my neighbors on the street behind me, they've got a couple of smaller dogs that are loud, and maybe they let them out last night, and there's a deer that walked by or something. Then I realized I don't think those are dogs. I think there was a coyote with some pups.
Really?
Is what I think it was. Yeah, because then I heard a howl. And I'm like, uh-oh. Lois. And I'm in the backyard. And I'm get inside the house. I don't think the coyote would do anything to Lois because they're like similar size. I think they go after the smaller stuff. Actually, Lois is probably a little bit bigger than a coyote, slightly bigger. So I wasn't terribly worried about that, but I just wanted her in. I didn't need her going crazy and barking at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Monday night.
Yeah, probably a bad idea.
Fortunately, if anything happened, it was blaming it on that. But that's a little off-putting when you hear the coyote call.
Okay, let me circle back to the wormhole you got down. What was it with TV or on your phone that you got? Because I know that this can be fascinating to see what grabs your attention.
TV, there really wasn't like the Pistons game ends. I'm watching the news ends.
That wasn't a game.
Right. No, that was
an execution.
That really was. That was unfair is what that was. And then I just left the TV on. So it was on like, I think TMZ and then getting into some other show. And I flipped it around to one of the talk shows and ignored it. What was really caught my attention was the phone. I get down the wormhole of really stupid stuff. I don't know why I watch these things because I get so infuriated when I watch them, and yet I can't stop watching them. And they're the dumb encounters that these people out there that they call themselves auditors, like freedom auditors, they get pulled over by the cops, or they deliberately put themselves in a position where the cops are going to be called so they can check the system. You know, and I'm simply exercising my Fourth Amendment rights and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, you're just being a pain in the ass is what you're doing. You know, you're walking into a police station and you're filming everything and they want you to leave and like, this is my right, public property. Like, you're just doing it to piss people off. But yet I keep watching them because 1 out of 10 will have when the cops have every right to do what they're doing and they put the people back in their place. And I love it when that happens. But I don't know why I keep looking at these stupid things. I don't answer questions. Dude, I just need your ID. I don't answer questions. You don't need my, what'd you pull me over for? Like, is this how people act?
You do realize that, yeah, the answer is yes, because there's a percentage of our society that's far too large that their purpose is to try and go viral.
Well,
I'll give you an example. I know somebody who sits on a city council, and things recently have changed because when people get it up at the podium in front of the council, they are trying to go viral.
Phones out.
Because they make sure they've got their sidekick there filming them so they can post on social media, look how I told off city council. And what I was told is that in recent years it's changed because it's no longer about productive exchanging of thoughts and ideas or bringing up concerns. It's still some of that. But there's way more, I'm going to go tell them off and go viral. Because the moment we get this done, I'm going to post it on the gram and let everybody see how I stepped up. And you know where else you see it? You see it at those seats courtside. People are trying to get players to respond because they got their phones out. And they go viral. And so these same things with these people that are trying to test the checks and balances of the system that want to walk into police stations and exercise their rights.
I'm on a public sidewalk. I'm allowed to film. Meanwhile, there's a business there that's upset that you're there because you're just stirring up trouble. Now, there are times when there are these encounters with police that you're like, well, the cops are being really unreasonable here. Like, just tell them why you've been pulled over and move there. And some of them, they're fishing. There's no question that they're fishing, and I get that part. But by and large, it's really just people out there trying to piss people off. And it's like, oh, my God. Because I think they're setting a bad example because laws are different state to state. Some states are, if they ask you to show ID, you are required to show ID. It's like you could be ticketed for not. You could find yourself in trouble if you don't. Other states, you don't. There has to be a cause for it, all this. But it's different. So people will watch these things, and they'll be in one state where you don't have to produce your ID. Or you'll be in another state where you do, but you saw this video, and those guys look really cool. And next thing you know, cops are breaking your window and hauling you out of your car because you watched this stupid TikTok video or this dumb reel that shows that no, you can exercise your rights and not do it.
I'm gonna go viral, man.
So anyway, that's what I got. Usually it's like music that gets me, oh, here's a cool video. Oh, here's I never saw this. Oh, here's, Brian Johnson from AC/DC, the lead singer back when he was in the band Geordie in 1975 and singing in Scotland. What? Oh my God, his voice sounds different. Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's normally where it gets to.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't that. All right, Carson Anderson, 97 The Ticket. Pistons.
Quite a difference in voice.
Pistons annihilate New Orleans last night. Hey, we talked about it, alluded to it yesterday. J.B. Bickerstaff felt compelled and perhaps very strategically went to bat for his team on Saturday night. And we said yesterday that we think that there is a chance that this Piston team will respond. They responded.
I'm really upset I didn't take my own advice, which was bet big on the Pistons last night.
Dude, the line was 6.5.
I didn't even look at it.
It was at 7.5 when we were on the air. By the time I got home, it was at 6.5.
I mean, that's one you could tease it back the other way. Yeah, I'll give up 15. I'll give up 30. Dude. I'll give up 40. I'll give up 45.
You know what
you
that
can
looked
have
like?
New Orleans in 45.
It's that time of year. That was a 1 versus 16. That's most ones versus 16s. Yeah. And there's a lot to talk about out of that win.
Good grief.
We will get to it. Pistons zeroing in on a playoff bid with an impressive win last night. It is, I go over a bad team given, but it was what? It was an impressive win. We'll get into the Pistons a little bit more next here on Carson Anderson. 97.1 The Ticket. Do you know what your home's water score is? Telltale signs like water spots, dingy laundry, or dry skin indicate your water score needs to be better. Call CGC and save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. They did it for me. Improve your water score and get the best water for your family. Contact our friends at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer, 855-339-4242, or visit cgcwater.com today. Your family deserves the best water. Contact CGC Water and save $1,000 or more when you bundle a Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. Call 855-339-4242 or visit cgcwater.com. If you're not filtering your water, you're the filter. Don't be the filter. With the warmer weather and melting snow, make sure your basement is dry. Save 10% now on a new Zoller sump pump from CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Call 855-339-4242. Yep, both of those. No script for Show Summer FanDuel. True Green 9492. I'm going to do that right now. True Green 9492 and 321. A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out, and that's where True Green comes in. They're the local experts in Detroit and the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. So they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. Here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think. And they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They'll come back between visits to make it right. Don't wait. Head to truegreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results. Sarah 9714 and 321. Hey, it's Doug Karsh for Sarah Chevrolet in Sterling Heights. Check out these March deals. Lease a new 2025 Chevy Equinox LT for just $289 a month for 36 months with $19.99 down. $289. Go now to 17.5 in Van Dyke and Sterling Heights. 87-SAY-SARAH or saysarah.com. Together, let's drive with GM employee discount and lease in the household. 10,000 miles per year plus taxes and fees with approved credit. Offer ends March 31st. Those are the 4 with numbers. The rest don't have numbers. So. Kang, I don't know if you noticed. I accidentally said something to you on the air there during the commercial break. I hit the wrong button. You didn't notice? So we got a couple buttons in here. One's called Talkback, where I can press down on the Talkback button. And you can't hear anything I say.
But the guys behind the glass.
Like guys behind the glass can hear it. Raising the curtain. During the commercial break, we were recording some stuff, and I actually hit the on button for the mic and said to Kang, hey, the other ones don't have numbers. Talking about the live reads. Sorry. I'm apologizing.
It's I might not have had you in the right program, so that might have gone over
the air?
At that point.
That pales in comparison to Gators. Oops, did I say that over the air? Sorry.
Yes, yeah, and then said it again.
Well, that's a different one.
Oh.
The one I was telling Doug.
When you're recording?
This was during a Pistons playoff postgame show. And we're actually in the building that was next door. So this is before Doug and I were doing the show together, early 2000s. And I was hosting the postgame show, and we were playing sound directly from the podium. And
we're carrying it live.
We're carrying it live. So it's later. It's probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night at this point or whatever. And it's just going on. And I'm like, I wasn't sure at that point, am I supposed to get out of this? And so I went to press the talkback button to talk to the producer behind the glass, and I forget who it was. But I said, how much effing longer are we going to have to put up with this S? Is what I said.
You thought you said it with the talkback button depressed.
It was
and you really had the mic button depressed.
I think it was Marty McCormick was the
really?
Yeah. And Marty looks at me and goes, oh, really? And I'm like, what? Oh. So we were on like a 15-second delay. I immediately ran out of the studio to see if I could hear it over the speakers.
Yeah.
And faintly you can hear something. And we were also recording it. So during a commercial break, we went back and listened to the logger. And
whoops.
You can faintly hear part of it.
Oh, I'm glad that didn't end your career.
Yeah.
Always good.
It's about 20 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Do you remember you brought up Marty? I didn't meet him. I don't think he was a producer here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you remember the story of Metcalf waiting for Marty Morningwig to call in?
100%. The former Lions head coach was doing his Lions coach's show.
Yeah, he was supposed to call in, and I guess he was running late or something. And Marty, the producer, calls instead, and Dave Metcalf, who's the producer back here, answers the phone, goes, "Where the F you been, Marty?" Or something like that. He thought he was talking to the producer, like, "Where's Marty?" But it was Marty Morningwig that had called in. And Marty Morningwig was, "I'm effing right here, man." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, coach. I thought you were the other Marty."
Sorry. Whoops. Yep.
That's pretty hysterical. Anyway.
It happens.
Yep.
It's happened.
Yep. And sometimes you get fired. Sometimes you don't. All right, so Pistons last night. Let's start with this. Kang's boy, Simone Fontecchio, goes 5 for 5 from 3. There you go. You've been waiting to see. Were you watching? That's the question.
I saw him hit 2 threes.
Okay.
And they're up like 35 at the time, so
They
but
weren't
either way, he
particularly
still
useful,
made them.
but that wasn't the debate, and this is a very important stat that we have discussed on the air quite a bit. The stat is called "In Games I Watched," And in games Kangs has watched, he thought Simone Fontecchio was 0 for the season on wide open threes. There's your stat of the day. In games Kang watched, until last night, Fontecchio was 0 for the season on wide open threes.
I saw him hit 2. So two on the board.
Dude, they could have hit shots wrong-handed against New Orleans last night. They were that was honestly a clowning.
It was embarrassing. I mean, 35-13 after the first quarter.
No, I expected Adam Silver to call in and say, just call the game. Seriously, this is embarrassing for everybody.
We need to rethink this Cooper Flag to San Antonio strategy. Because New Orleans is terrible.
And the thing was, it was everybody for the Pistons. Early in that game, it was Cunningham, it was Duren, it was Ausar, it was everybody
but Malik Beasley.
And I mean, I was talking about the starters, yes. But the starters were all, and you look down, they're up 41-14. I'm like, the line was 6.5. And I think New Orleans at one point cut it to 20. But I was also thinking about the party crashers theory we have about the Pistons. It really does hold true. They put that graphic up last night about they've won the most consecutive games in a row, winning the points in the paint since 2018. Like, they're doing it a different way than everybody else does, and I'm here for it. Like, I think party crashing Pistons are typically the best Pistons. The bad boys did it their way. The going to work Pistons did it their way, and this team is doing it their way. And we got like a legitimate big.
This team, they smell blood in the water. Like, Cade Cunningham has been way more aggressive this year than we've ever seen him in his career. I mean, he's looking to posterize people. Last night, if you watch the entire game, Ronald Holland was on a mission to have a poster picture, a poster dunk, without question. Twice, he was like one step in from the free throw line and flying through the air and going to dunk it, and he got fouled both times and missed both jams. But then finally got one late in the game, and he ends up like falling down and sitting and looking up like, finally, Right. I mean, he was just practicing.
Dude.
He was literally practicing out there trying to get this one dunk to go, and finally got it. And, Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham, the way they're playing together, it's fantastic. I mean, Duren is he's unstoppable in the paint on a lob. He's going to catch everything and throw it down. And everybody is getting involved. I mentioned that the only guy who wasn't really shooting last night was their best shooter, ironically. Malik Beasley was 4 of 14, but everybody else was knocking down shots. Fontecchio was 5 of 5 for 3, 9 of 10 from shots in the game. Now, we joked about Fontecchio this year because he's been so bad compared to what he was last year. But last few games, he's perking up. Perfect time. Get down the stretch. I mean, because seriously, if Fontecchio ends up becoming what he was last year, which was a 40% shooter for the season, if he is that from here on out, going into the playoff run, that's a valuable piece to have, because he's also, it's a big body. He doesn't mind playing defense. He's grabbed some rebounds.
Do you remember when the Red Wings power play was operating at like 45%?
Yeah, it's crazy.
There?
They couldn't miss.
And people will throw the following out. They'll say, well, water's going to find its level, meaning they're going to revert to their average eventually, which means, and they did, they hit a cold stretch where they went like whatever many games in a row, 3-4 games in a row without scoring a power play goal. And it kind of balances out. You get white hot, you get ice cold, and then right in the middle is your power play percentage. It's more typical. What if Fontecchio is going to find his level? What if water is going to find its level with him?
It would be a massive lift for this team, because it gives you another viable offensive option aside from Cade or Malik Beasley that you can absolutely count on. Like, it feels like Hardaway Jr. has had maybe more good games than bad games, right? So that he's leaning in that area. And Duren is, like we said, he's a force inside, but he's no threat outside. They need somebody else, and Fontecchio can be that guy. You hope he's that guy. In the month of March, he's knocked down 46% of his three-point shots. It was 25% in February. They were 31% in January, 36 back in December, and 36 in November. I mean, that's 46%, dude.
Yeah.
In like 10 games. That's impressive. Very impressive. So if they can lean on that, that'd be huge. He's also shooting it more than he has during the season, too. his three-point shot since way back early in the season when you thought he was going to be that guy all year, and he wasn't. So good for him to knock these down, and good for the Pistons. Look, you got to take advantage of this, right? Bad taste in your mouth because you split with Washington last week, which you shouldn't do because Washington's god-awful, but Washington had some pride. And they came back a couple nights later, and they said, okay, Pistons, we're actually going to knock down our shots, and we're not going to get pushed around. But the Pistons were pissed about Saturday night. They take it out on the team last night, New Orleans last night. And now we'll see where they're at when they return to action tomorrow night. But I like where the team is at because they're playing really well.
I just love the response. I love that JB did something that might have been calculated. It might have just been, okay, here's the time to do it. Or it might have been just a heat of the moment. But we wanted to see them respond to that and show, yeah, coach, we got your back. This is authentically Detroit versus everybody, and we're going to lean into it, and they did. I mean, they're supposed to beat New Orleans. They're supposed to beat it by 6.5. Remember that. They're supposed to beat it by 6.5.
And, Trey Murphy got hurt early in the game. He played 1 minute. And
it was
out.
weird. You couldn't tell anything was really – I was trying to see if we had a Warning Gator graphic where we were going to have an inverted 90-degree elbow bend or something.
We did. It was another game, and it was not an injury. It was vomit. But
that's for 120.
Thank you. Zion Williamson.
Yep, I'm teasing vomit talk.
Zion Williamson is a massive individual, right? 6'6", 280. Massive individual, has crazy athletic ability. Can't shoot all that well, but he is a force inside.
I want to talk about him because I noticed the irony last night as it pertains to the Pistons. We'll get to that today at 10:32. Open lines, feedback, calls. It's Carson Anderson, 97.1.
Reliable service is so tough to find, right? Sometimes you call a company, have them come out and fix something, and they don't answer the phone. Or if there's a machine, you leave a message, and they don't call you back. Or there's no way to get in touch with them through a website. That's not the case with Precision Garage Door. They're awesome. All calls are answered 24/7. And in fact, you want to schedule an appointment for them to come out to your house, you can do so on their website. So it works at a time for your convenience. It's not just on their schedule. They'll work with your schedule. They're available weekends at no extra charge, which is pretty awesome. I've had them out at my house a couple of times, do some garage repairs, and then years later had to get new garage doors. They're awesome to deal with. I'm telling you, give them a call today at 1-800-DOOR-REPAIR or visit precisiondoormi.com. Right now, you get a free door opener when you buy any new garage door. That's a near $500 value, but the sale ends on March 31st. Plus, mention 97.1 the ticket, and they're going to waive the service fee. So give them a call today, 1-800-DOOR-REPAIR or visit precisiondoormi.com and schedule that appointment today.
Doug Carr, Scott Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket. Pistons annihilate New Orleans last night. And I'm sitting there watching the game, Gator, and I'm thinking about just the irony of where these two organizations are. 2019, Zion Williamson was coming out for the NBA draft, and the anticipation over the draft lottery that year. Do you remember the hype and the anticipation prior to the Zion draft lottery?
Yeah. Was it John Morant? Was that the other player?
In the same draft?
Yeah.
I think it was. But it was such a big deal to, who's going to win this lottery, right? And when New Orleans won it and Memphis finished second, and it was John Morant, when New Orleans won that draft lottery, they showed the shot of the city celebrating, okay? And you always want to win the draft lottery, but there's every once in a while there's a draft lottery that there's that one coveted game-changing piece that everybody thinks is going to be a generational player. And Zion was one of them. Victor Wembanyama was one a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, LeBron. I mean, you start thinking about all these drafts and draft lotteries. Yeah, there's ones that are considered to be transformational for the organization that wins it. New Orleans won it. And the camera shots, the live shots from inside their offices and the fans watching in bars, they were going crazy. Pistons won the draft lottery a few years later to win Cade Cunningham. And we high-fived and we celebrated. But they weren't cutting into regularly scheduled programming to show Detroit's reaction to winning the draft lottery that year because Cade was probably going to go number one.
Yeah, I think it wasn't consensus, but it was pretty close to it.
And I was excited about Cade. The people I know in the game, I talked to them about him like, look, this guy has, he's not, don't sleep on Cade is what I was told. So I'm like, okay, I'll get on board.
He was getting the Grant Hill comp.
Yep. So anyway, but it wasn't the Zion hype. And last night, Zion was there and he can't stay healthy and his team's pathetic. And Cade's team is one of the great stories in the NBA. And it's funny to always look back and say, maybe we should have been cutting into regularly scheduled programming and showing Detroit's reaction at winning Cade Cunningham in the draft lottery.
Well, I mean, it's been a while to get here to this point, and it's kind of a slow and steady climb. But Cade was really good when he came out his rookie season, but not this good. I mean, he needed to improve, and he did. He got better steadily each year, but he's also dealt with lots of injuries, not as much as Zion has. I mean, Zion's rookie season, he played 24 games. The next year, he played 61. Then he played 29 games. He played 70 last year. Not bad. There's some load management there, and that's what the NBA is about. And he played well enough. This year, he's only played 29 games. He's missed all this time, but when he plays, he's really good in terms of, filling up that score sheet. He scores 25 points a game in his career, and he's averaged almost 7 rebounds a game. But he's not a threat behind the arc, even though I think his first NBA game, he was knocking down a few threes and everybody got, ooh, look at this, how is this happening? But he's not really much of a threat because he just doesn't shoot them. Because why would you? I mean, his game it's a power game. But his name constantly gets mentioned with the Pistons, like, hey, should the Pistons trade for Zion Williamson? This is prior to this year. I heard that. If he, free agency hits, should the Pistons stockpile for Zion Williamson? And I'm like, I mean, he's a highlight reel, but he's not a guy you build a team around. I don't think. Maybe I'm dead wrong in that. I just don't see him as being a guy you build a team around. But he's exciting, but he's always hurt, and he's always hurt because he's too big. It's not his fault. He's this big-boned, big-muscled guy. He's not a fat guy. He's a powerhouse. But when you're 6'6" and 280 pounds, and you've got a 42-inch vertical, jumping up and landing is going to be a problem at some point.
Sometimes when you are so athletically gifted and can dominate because of your athletic gifts, you might not develop all the rest of the skills necessary to get the most out of what you are bringing to the table. I'm not sure what happened. Like, I'm not saying this happened. I don't know if this happened with Zion or not. But in some players' cases, you don't develop completely an all-around game because, hey, I just go out and dominate. And sometimes that's good enough to take you all the way to the league and be a great player in the league.
But I mean, he just doesn't. He's not an outside shooter, but everything inside is fantastic with him when he's healthy. He does grab rebounds. He does block shots. He does distribute the basketball. This is a guy who's averaged over 4 assists per game in his career. He's averaged a steal a game as well. I mean, he is kind of an all-around player. He just lacks the one thing that everybody wants in the NBA, which is the ability to shoot, from beyond 15 feet and specifically beyond 21 feet.
Pistons with a big win last night. And yeah, it was fun. It was really, really fun. And by big win, I just mean they won by a large margin. Beating one of the worst teams in basketball isn't a resume. It's not a quad one win.
No, that is not a quad one win. And unfortunately for the Pistons, it looked like Minnesota was going to help the Pistons out last night. They had a late lead over Indiana, and then the Pacers were able to tie things up. They go to overtime, and the Pacers win by 2. So the Pistons still trail Indiana and Milwaukee by a game for the 4th spot in the Eastern Conference. But keep mowing down the teams you got to mow down, and be strong against the better teams in the league, and we'll see where they're at when it's all done. But this is a playoff team, and it's going to be fun to watch when we get into late April and hopefully into May and watch this team continuing to play.
Feedback coming into the Carson Anderson inbox. I'm with Kang. I haven't seen him hit a shot. I still haven't. I yelled about him so much, but hopefully the Fonz comes through.
Fontecchio.
Well, the reason I'm so hard on Fontecchio, by the way, he's never going to be the consistent second scorer for this team. Like, he's just not that type of player. And that's going to have to be, for this year, like Tobias Harris or even Schroeder, like Malik Beasley can get hot. Those are the guys that you can count on being a second scorer. Fontecchio, I'm so hard on him because there's going to be a moment in the playoffs that he's going to be wide open and they're going to kick it to him and he's going to have to knock it down. That's what I need from him. The timely threes when you're open. Play strong defense, right? The minutes that you get, and hit 40, 45% of your three-pointers, because those are going to be critical. Like he's not like a guy like, all right, we need 17 from Fontecchio tonight. No, I need you to hit those 1 or 2 threes when the game's momentum shifts and swinging and things like that. That's what I need from him.
Guys like that get left open.
Yes.
And when they do, you have to make people pay. And you're right. There's probably going to come a moment this year where they're going to need somebody to step up. Somebody's going to be left open. And if it's him, knock down that damn shot.
To stop another team's run or just continue, what you guys are doing. So that's why I'm hard on him, and I hope he comes through.
From an unnamed texter, Pistons dub was awesome. New Orleans losing their top scorer minute of the game probably factored, but we'll take it. We deserve this. Yeah, I mean, it's all part of it. There's guys... there's guys on teams that, the Pistons have lost games when they didn't have guys too. So it's all part of it. You got to go out and you got to win those games. So Miami tomorrow, that's a team that's on the cusp of the playoffs, but I think we're looking at a Piston team that got a little shot of adrenaline from JB on Saturday night, and it showed last night. 248-539-9797. You want to get into the Pistons here a little bit. We do have March Madness talk. We'll get to a little bit later on. Also, got some Lions stuff. Yes, we do have fresh mail today. That in the 11 o'clock hour. Tigers to discuss, so it's going to be a busy day. Red Wings back in action tonight. Just a reminder, you can watch the show using YouTube and Twitch. Go to youtube.com and twitch.tv. You can see what's going on in the studio. Myself, Gator Kang. Kenny as well on occasion. You can also stream the show with the Odyssey app. Download it for your mobile device, AUDACY. We're Champ and Chump. If it's not posted already, it's going to be posted here shortly. See who the people selected as the Champ and Chump of the weekend. And you can, again, stream the show there as well. It is Carson Anderson here on 97.1 The Ticket. FanDuel is turning the excitement up even higher for college basketball. Through the first 2 rounds of the tournament, bet on the lowest winning seed of the day, and you'll win a share of $1 million in bonus bets. Now, I was reading this today. The minimum bet is 9 cents. If you bet 9 cents and your low seed wins, and it's the lowest seed to win that day, if you bet a 14 and they win, you get all the 14s. So if another 14 wins, you're not out. You just split the share of $1 million. So you bet your 9 cents and you could win a share of $1 million. They did this for the Eli Manning, Peyton Manning thing, the kick. You could bet on one or the other and you win a share of, I think it was like $45 per person to bet. Anyway, Just go check it out. Go to fanduel.com/Doug. Download America's #1 sportsbook. And back your dog of the day, because in March, anything can happen. Must be 21 or over and present in Michigan. The opt-in is required. Winning pre-live money wager on lowest seed required. Each $1 million jackpot will be split equally amongst all eligible winners. Bonus bet on non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Later in the show, I'm going to make a very sincere and what I hope is a strong effort to inspire Gator to be fired up for tonight's first 4 games.
Good luck.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a shot.
All right.
See if there's a storyline that can light a fire.
You got the car charged up, ready to take me to Dayton? Is that what's happening?
No, I'm not going to go to Dayton. I've often thought we would have a good time, and there'd be nothing wrong with just going for the fun of it. And you don't think it sounds like fun at all, just to go watch random NCAA games in Dayton. Well, it's not Vegas. I'm not. I don't want to.
No, it's not.
I think it would be fun for us just to hang out, pal.
Do you?
Yeah. You apparently don't.
I don't mind hanging out with you.
I'm in favor of more Gator. He's in favor of less Doug. So this is what we get. Okay, so there is an interesting storyline because it always goes back to how it impacts us. And it may have a direct impact on us if Aaron Rodgers lands in Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers is mulling over his next step. Me personally, no longer worried about Aaron Rodgers. I don't think there's any way that man at his age gets better every year. I don't think he maintains every year. I think he gets worse, and I think he's a distraction. I think he's a walking distraction. I don't think he's dedicated to the craft anymore. I think his behavior says as much, and he does not scare me in any way, even in our division. In fact, I kind of want him in the division because I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and I'd like to see the Lions beat him 2 more times. You think he'll be better than Sam Darnold in Minnesota, and hence make Minnesota more dangerous?
If he goes there, yeah.
Yeah. So we're coming at this from kind of a fundamental different place, and that's fine.
Yeah, I
suspect you hope I'm right.
Oh, yeah. I think it'd be amazing, but I think even better, just don't go to Minnesota. I would rather watch that experiment unfold and, with the Giants or with the Steelers.
You think that's better than him going to Minnesota and sucking?
I'm pretty confident the Minnesota situation right now with their quarterback is going to suck. So I'd rather not see Aaron Rodgers. I think he's an upgrade over what they have. So, yeah, I'd rather not see him there. I do think there's something left in the tank. Now, what's interesting is, I don't know if it's interesting or not because I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. What is his ego going to do? Is his ego say, hey, man, create all the headlines and just walk away, tease everybody and just walk away? Or is it going to be...
Well, we know he's struggling with this decision because last week the photo emerged of him in deep thought, staring out into the ocean, barefoot and wrapped in a blanket.
Yeah.
In a not at all stage picture. Not at all stage.
Not even close.
Nobody even thinks that. That's just Aaron.
That's raw Aaron.
Contemplating and deep, pensive self-reflection.
That's A-Rod out in the wild.
Yep.
But I think that his ego can go one of two ways. Like I said, it's either he's going to say, stay in the headlines and then walk away. Everybody thinks just tease him and then you let everybody down. Or is his ego going to say, dude, and maybe this isn't even ego. This is actually the better side of ego, where it says, do you want to go out like this? Do you want to be the guy that, couldn't get it done with the Jets? Yeah, you tore your Achilles, but then the last year you were clowned on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look terrible. You want to go out like that? Or do you want to suck it up, be a teammate, report to camp and all this stuff and have a heck of a season? Because, oh my God, look at the riches you would have to work with if you went to Minnesota as opposed to going to one of the other 2 teams.
So
it could go either way. I don't know which way he's going to go because he's, he only listens to himself, which is fine. At this point, he's got a Hall of Fame career. He's got MVP trophies. He's got a Super Bowl trophy. He's done it all.
So it's interesting listening to this get covered as it feels like, we're a week into free agency. I guess we're 8 days-ish into free agency, the legal tampering period, which is just can't sign anything, but you can agree to stuff. Anyway, and there's nothing really with Aaron Rodgers yet. Todd McShay was talking about Aaron Rodgers recently and said the reason Aaron hasn't done anything is because Aaron Rodgers is waiting for everything else to cool down. So when he makes his decision, it's not overshadowed by anything. He then went so far as to say Adam Schefter, who's like the nicest guy and never says, apparently he said that Schefter's like the nicest guy ever. And he said he never says boo about anything. Everybody's like, yeah, Aaron's waiting until he has the spotlight. And now Cam Hayward of the Steelers, who's one of the teams that might be in the running for Aaron Rodgers. There are quotes that are now posted. This kind of went around the internet, and I was looking for somebody with a little bit more, that it wasn't just Twitter rumors, that these quotes weren't made up. These quotes are now posted on Pro Football Talk. This is Cam Hayward on his Not Just Football podcast regarding Aaron Rodgers. I'm tired of talking about the quarterback situation. And he is, quote, ready to move on from free agency. Here's what he said. I ain't doing that darkness retreat. I don't need any of that crap. Either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. That's simple. That's the pitch. If you want me to recruit, that's the recruiting pitch. Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to be part of it, so be it. If you don't, no skin off my back. So, I don't know if that means Pittsburgh, just because one player said this, doesn't mean Pittsburgh's off the table by any stretch of the imagination. But, is the world just getting sick of Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, 100%. Aaron Rodgers, the Aaron Rodgers you're getting today is not the Aaron Rodgers from 6 years ago. The guy who was still kind of light and funny and very good, and hey, everybody RELAX and all that stuff, and winning MVPs. And this be before I think everything changed when the Packers decided to draft Jordan Love in the first round, at the end of the first round, when they moved up back into the first round to make that selection. Everything changed from that point. Rodgers was devastated. He's like, "What are you doing?" And then you're not even going to talk to me about it. From that moment on, now did he win MVPs? Yeah, but he did it with a giant chip on his shoulder, and it was team be damned. Nobody's getting in here anymore, and then moved on, and it's been a disaster.
Here's
for
what
him.
I want to make something clear. I don't care about his darkness retreat and his enemas and all of the stuff he does. All his various levels of meditation. All that's fine. Do that. What got me was when he skipped OTAs and he skipped minicamp, and then he showed up bitching about his receivers. That's what got me. That's where I'm like, okay, if you're not putting in the work, if you're not doing the extra to help along the young guys that are trying to get in sync with you, you're not allowed to bitch about them. They were there. You weren't.
Well, it was 2 years in a row. The first year, where he doesn't show up at the OTAs the first year, right? And then tears his Achilles and he's done. But the second year is the one where he doesn't even show up to training camp. Yeah. He's like, you know what? I'm going to be out for this time. They're like, we got training camp that starts in August, dude. You got to be there. Yeah,
I got outed. He went on a vacation to Egypt.
Yeah. What? You're the quarterback of this team. So he is a different person and a different player.
Yep.
I'm not. Thank God the Lions don't have a situation, because I wouldn't want to deal with that. Yet I also feel like this organization now would say absolutely not with a 10-foot pole. Now, if you're the Vikings, you're desperate to hang on at this point. You won 14 games last year. You decided to move on from Sam Darnold. Okay, if you did that, then what's your plan?
Right.
Because I don't think the plan was automatically handed over to J.J. McCarthy, who might end up being a fantastic quarterback for them, but he missed all of last year and then had a setback, and who knows what he's going to be like this year. And that team's ready to go. That team's ready to win now. Like, they need a quarterback to step in to be the guy, not just, here you go, Rook. Aaron Rodgers would make sense for them, but it's not like it comes without any kind of risk. Of course there's a risk.
Right.
Because you don't know what Aaron Rodgers you're getting now.
So I want him in Minnesota because I want to beat him. You want him anywhere but Minnesota because you think he'd be better than Darnold.
Yeah.
Kang, you be the tiebreaker here. Do you want Rodgers in Minnesota or not in Minnesota?
I don't, but I don't think people should fear him as much as they sound like they fear him. And I'm not talking you guys, just the general public and Lions fans in general. I think that the Aaron Rodgers, you kind of said it a second ago without saying it, he is not the same Aaron Rodgers of 6 years ago. As I'm talking just on the field wise. And people will say, well, did you see Sam Darnold last year? Yeah, Sam Darnold actually might be better than Aaron Rodgers right now in 2025. Aaron Rodgers, did you see him last year? And I understand his team is not as good as the Vikings was, but he might just be, hey, I'm over 40. I'm coming off a serious injury. My skills have disintegrated. I'm not the same. And it happens to every athlete, and they don't want to admit it. But at some point, you just don't have it anymore. And I think Aaron Rodgers, with all the off-field stuff as well, but more importantly on the field, he might just not have it anymore.
Yeah, he might not. I mean, he might just – and I can see that. I don't think it's a slam dunk he's going to be great, because you don't know what you're getting with him at this point. And yeah, he has been hurt a lot over the last 4 or 5 seasons, and he doesn't look like the same. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is in the prime of his career, and he tried doing things in the Super Bowl that he's always done that did not work, throwing across your body and all that stuff. Hey, guess what? You paid for it this time. So you got to keep, developing as a quarterback. And at his age, he's not going to develop. He's only going to regress or stay where he's at. But he was at an awfully high level. It's not that long ago. I think it was 2021 when he was the league MVP. A lot's happened to his body since then, and maybe I'm just giving him too much credit for his past. But I'd just rather not see him. I think there's an excellent chance we may not see him again in the NFL. Period. He might just retire because it doesn't sound like all these teams are that hot to have him anymore. If Pittsburgh, you got guys like Cam Hayward coming out and speaking publicly that either S or get off the pot. Basically,
yep.
You want to be a Steeler or not? Because if you don't, then let's move on.
Gators calling a shot. Next move for Aaron Rodgers, the Aaron Rodgers Holistic Wellness Spa is more likely than the NFL. I guess you didn't say more. I didn't. You didn't say more likely, but I'd say that is as likely as the NFL. It's Carson Anderson, open lines, 248-539-9797. Next hour, talk a little bit about the draft. It is 97.1 The Ticket.